Welcome once again to the Comic Wrestling Podcast. This is The Wrestling Ring. I'm Deadly Dave.
I am the Wildcard, Ace Williams.
And I'm Markadius.
And today we are going to be talking about three letters that still ring out in arenas today.
TNA!
Not so much.
Oh.
ECW.
That's the one.
Extreme Championship Wrestling.
Eastern Championship Wrestling.
For a little while. But before we get into it, over the weekend, we're recording this on, I think, the 6th. I don't know.
Yeah, it's either the 5th or... I think it's the 6th.
You got it.
Wrestling legend Pat Patterson passed away.
Yeah, what day was that? 2 days ago?
Yeah. And the creator of the Royal Rumble, he did so much backstage. A lot of the storylines that you remember from the 80s and 90s, Pat Patterson came up with. A lot of people remember his boot camp match with Sergeant Slaughter in Madison Square Garden. I didn't even know he was sick. I don't think it was anybody really said that he was sick, but
with the cancer, yeah.
Yeah,
he's also known, the first ever IC.
Oh yeah, first Intercontinental Champion. A lot of people know him as part of the Stooges with Gerald Briscoe.
That's when I got introduced to him in the late 90s. What was that, 1973? He was the champ for that, though?
Yep. Yeah, and he was part of the highest rated segment in the history of Raw with him and Gerald Briscoe against the Mean Street Posse. Mm-hmm. That whole thing was the highest rated segment, which is kind of funny, but...
Yeah, when you think about it.
Yeah, but he was so influential in the business. I haven't seen a single negative thing about him in everything I've seen. So it sucks that he's gone.
So yeah, that's like, obviously you want to do a little homage to the legend that was Pat Patterson.
Yeah.
I did watch the Legends House where he came out.
Yeah.
All the legends on tape. And I did cry, tear up.
I have too, yeah.
Because, one, you care about those people. But, two, it's like, man, there's only, two that are left alive still. Hacksaw and Tony Atlas and Jimmy Hart. Those are, the only three that were sitting at that. Oh, and Hillbilly Jim.
Yeah. And they kind of made allusions to it, like JR would kind of make comments every once in a while, like a slight gay joke, and you kind of knew that he was, but to see him come out like that, and all the boys around the table knew it, but he never had really, said it, so I thought that was a really good moment in that. But we have the Hardcore Homecoming DVD, and it's not an official ECW DVD, but it does have a lot of the originals, and it's something different besides just throwing in an ECW pay-per-view.
Well, I'd also like to comment on the gay thing, only because...
Yeah, you know it.
Only because I watched a clip on YouTube the other day that was from... What's the show Ice-T was in, where he was a cop?
That would be
Law and Order.
Okay, so the scene was this. I ain't gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men.
Oh.
That means you're gay. That's all I saw of the clip. That was... It was two black guys. It was some black guy and Ice-T talking. And this black guy literally says, I ain't gay. I have relationships with women and sex with men. And Ice-T looks at him and he goes, alright, that means you're gay. And the fact that, I don't watch all those cop drama shows or whatever, but the fact that that was in a TV show, I don't know what they're trying to show me. The ignorance of gay, the ignorance of being black, the ignorance of being human. Well, I don't know what the fuck that scene meant, but just speaking of being gay.
Wow.
I had to kind of interject that fucking thing, because I thought that was pretty funny to me.
That's funny. That's good.
I ain't gay. I have relationships with women. And sex. He said it so aggressively. The sex.
He was
sex.
Probably thinking about it.
Jesus, you probably do have relationships, as in they're your friends, and then you're gay with dudes. What a show. I need to get to the bottom of it. Ice-T need to help me out. But yeah, this was the same night, or a couple of nights away from, what the fuck was it? ECW One Night Stand?
I think it was the night before, actually.
The night before ECW One Night Stand, the WWE one. Which, that's a great one to watch. I mean, I would watch it.
Some of the guys on this weren't at One Night Stand because some of them were under contract to TNA at the time.
Right, so if you only watched One Night Stand and you wondered, why certain people weren't...
Like Raven or Shane Douglas.
And Terry Funk and shit. this is a great opportunity to understand why. We're not going to tell you the story, so suck a dick.
And another companion to that is watch the Forever Hardcore documentary that Jeremy Borash did.
How do you say that?
Forever Hardcore?
What was the second the word after that?
What? Jeremy Borash?
No. The
Documentary?
That's not how you said it at first. You enunciated, which sounded terrific to me. Documentary.
Aluminium.
Don't hop on this train. You can write your parts. But yeah, I've never seen that, so watch it. But also, we'll say it in this episode. This will be one of the last fleeting episodes in between till the very last one that we announce, I guess, if we do announce the very last. Because I personally need to take a break for a little while, which is no one's fault, really. It's not. I just feel mentally drained. I don't know if that's even the right word. Or words. 2 words. Is it one word? Mentally drained. Yeah. But, so we'll be fitting in some comic shop stuff into this burrito of an episode that will be ECW. I don't know what we'll name it, but we'll name it something. And I will be eating snacks throughout this.
Markadius. As we do.
Right. We'll all be eating snacks. If you don't enjoy it, if you've never enjoyed any of this, fuck you. Leave a comment. I don't know what else to say. I want a goddamn comment besides myself and old Greg. And also,
I love old Greg.
On one of the last episodes, or not last episodes, but the, you did a small little video. If anybody commented on it, they got Bill Alfonso free autograph. And I'm going to jump on that bandwagon. Anybody that comments on that, this, or any fucking videos or things.
But not somebody that's been a guest on the show.
Do you have to be 18 or older?
We have people younger than 18 listening to us.
And your parents need help, but you can win these prizes for them. You can win this. It's a John Cena and The Rock mug pretzel kit. It's about 5 years old.
So you might not want to eat the pretzel.
Yeah, it's from 2014.
Questionable.
It holds.
It's like Twinkies. It never
There's
goes
salt
down.
on the pretzels.
Okay.
Right?
Yeah, it preserves them.
Yeah, that's the word. Old people. So this could be yours. All you gotta do is leave a goddamn comment from this or any previous archival goddamn video footage snippets.
And you can't say, hey, I made a comment once.
Just say, hey, I like the show.
I'm not even gonna be that goddamn picky because Jesus Christ. The only people that can't win it are myself, Nick, and Greg, and Mark. And Steven. And Parker. And Mr. Man. That's it. Everyone else is in contention for fucking prizes. And I'll sign it. I won't sign it. I don't know.
We're willing to give you free shit here. We're just asking for a little participation.
And I'm sorry it's The Rock and John Cena, but beggars can't be choosers. You just keep on scrolling. So now that this mad train has been conducted, let's progress. I need that controller over there, please. Arrola. It may not reach all the way. I might have to flip. Arms are too short.
You hooked on every line.
Oh, yeah, you are. Here. Just pull that through the rest of those.
Yep.
If you don't like what we're doing, hey, first of all, people.
Getting a little crazy. Oh. What's your name? Ace Pool?
Fuck you mean?
Ace Pool.
Ace Pool.
Ace Pool.
There's more underneath. Why it's very restricting. There's more.
Oh man, he's got layers.
I'm like an onion! And I promise both of you this. By the end of this episode, because I wanted to go out with a bang if it was, I'm not even making this up. I'm going to laugh because it's so real. One of you two is going to win, or could win, I don't know how to say this.
This is awesome.
Up to $200 in cash.
Whoa.
How epic is that?
I want that.
$2 or $2? $2.
I'll buy that for $200?
Well, luckily there's two. No, $200 in cash
Wow.
will be graciously presented at some point in time. And it's money. It's cash. No
Wow.
cards. No
Is
behind
this
door.
like pink and yellow Monopoly money, or?
No.
Alright.
That's been done. That's been done.
Alright.
So you think about that, and think about what you could spend.
I already thinking.
Jesus Christ. Damn. So we will get this underway because it is a hardcore homecoming, so to speak. Shane Douglas making an appearance. So I wanted to just mention real quick a couple little tidbits because I know some other stuff will lead into real conversations. It was like a day ago or yesterday, Oscar Isaac was confirmed to play Solid Snake in the upcoming Metal Gear Solid movie, whenever that will be. We won't get sued by these guys, so we can have some sound, which is pretty cool.
South Philly.
There's
There's
New Jack.
New Jack.
I raped a bitch and then stole her money and then bought her funeral.
Craziest motherfucker on the planet.
And on today's episode, you will hear the Bill Alfonso story.
Yes.
The infamous Fonzie story. It's not really that famous, but it will be after today.
Hey, there was the Patty's Pub.
Was there?
No.
Well, they're in Philadelphia, so, you know. But Oscar Isaac is Solid Snake in the Metal Gear Solid movie. I am pretty excited about that because I think he'll do all right.
Yeah.
Mark, what are your thoughts?
I was kind of like, but then again, I like him in the Star Wars movie, you know.
Who was he in that, Finn?
Yeah, he was Poe.
Yeah, he wasn't the black man, yeah.
And then I'm like, wait, he was also Apocalypse in X-Men Apocalypse.
Yes, but he is also...
But I'll give him a
He's
shot.
also Gomez Adams in the new animated Adams Family movie, so you know what? That's up for debate.
Yeah, we'll see. Hopefully he's got a
Now,
in that sneaking suit.
do you think they will have him be Liquid as well, or they'll cast Jamie Lannister? Brother. Would you rather be Oscar Isaac as
Jamie
Liquid, or
Lannister.
would Jamie Lannister would be good, wouldn't he?
Yeah, it can't be.
Because Solidus doesn't look exactly like him.
Right.
Solidus
Well, have
looks
it be a
like Big
different
Boss.
actor.
Who would you want to be Big Boss? Kiefer Sutherland? How meta would that be?
Pretty freaking awesome.
Wouldn't that be pretty terrific?
Yeah, and he doesn't even have to really fight.
No, he doesn't.
You just sit in
He
a
has an
chair.
octopus suit. If he's Solidus.
Yep.
But that's terrific. I'm excited.
Do they know what the plot's gonna be? Is it Shadow
I don't know.
Moses? Is it? Are we going back to like?
I hope it's
NES?
called Metal Gear Solid Shadow Moses. And then the second one's called Metal Gear Solid Sons of Liberty. And then Metal Gear Solid 4 Guns of the
You want
Patriots.
them to just do the games.
I want them to do Solid Snake's trilogy and then the
Yeah.
big bosses, just like
I agree.
But I had a note to go on that note, but now we'll just pin a note.
Hat on a hat.
Pin it right there.
I think it's pretty cool that,
Yeah.
that's actually becoming, you know,
More
a
and more.
franchise. That's really cool.
And I hope it's not going to be shit. It could be. It very well could be. And even if it is,
I'm still gonna go watch that shit.
Yeah.
Well,
I'll
maybe
definitely
not.
see
You
that.
might not, because Warner Brothers, I didn't have this written down, Warner Brothers just put all the 2021 movies
Yep.
on, what is it, HBO?
HBO Max.
So you'll have to get those on flash drives for me if you could.
Oh yeah.
Bootlegging them.
Tom and Jerry, straight to HBO Max.
Needs to go straight to the garbage bin.
You're gonna see Tom and Jerry? I'm gonna.
The only people that are going to see that are like Chloe Grace Moretz's mother and father. Oh, you're in a cartoon, honey!
Michael
That's all I-
Pena's husband.
I feel like my phone just went off and I still can't get it. It's underneath so many layers. Like, it's in there. Deep.
It's so deep
I
in
should have
those
thought of
layers.
that first before I did all this.
Yep.
But that's whatever. And there might be a Spider-Man 3 trailer today.
I heard there might be a teaser.
Yes, because they're at Comic-Con in Tokyo or some shit like that. And they're doing something there, and then something in Brazil or whatever. They just released like a Brazilian like not multiverse, but Spider-Verse trailer.
Wow.
It wasn't new stuff, it was just old stuff, but it was basically saying, are you ready for this? And they're doing a Sony panel all this weekend, and it was rumored it was going to be yesterday. So it's speculated that it'll be today. So if you guys are interested, keep your eyes and your spider senses tingling.
They're tingling now.
Ew. And maybe we talk a little bit about AEW.
Yeah, of course we can.
I only have two things here. First, I will talk about... There is a new AEW World Heavyweight Champion. The third in history... I don't have any other notes. I don't know why I keep looking down. The third in the history of the company. It seems pretty predictable, but it also seemed pretty predictable if he was the first or second, really. It's going to seem predictable no matter when he won it.
That's like you knew the Young Bucks were going to be tag champs at some point.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yep.
But I watched it, on YouTube or whatever. I personally enjoyed it. I thought it was a perfect heel win to run out of there like a coward with Don Callis, and then Alex Marvez is like, well, where are you going? And he goes, you'll hear about it on Tuesday. And he goes, well, it's on Wednesday. And he goes, well, it's on fucking Tuesday. Watch it.
Okay.
Because it's on Tuesday.
Okay.
Look at Todd.
If you have Access TV.
So that'll get you interested because clearly that's Don Callis is working for Impact and wherever else. And Kenny Omega, it's already been confirmed since then by Impact that Kenny Omega will be on there doing some sort of promo. Who knows where this could go?
I think it's going to end up, the Good Brothers are going to end up showing up on AEW and challenging the Young Bucks. I think that's
I'm okay with that, but where are you going to go with Kenny Omega on AEW, or not AEW, but Impact? Like, who could you, because I don't see talent there. I mean, not that there isn't,
right.
But Sami Callihan to me is exactly what Jim Cornette hates.
Yeah.
And I hate that too. I hate him. But after listening to a little of Jim Cornette talk about it, I listened to like maybe 2 minutes, and I'm like, no, he's just shitting on it. Because this, to me, this was awesome. This was really great. I listened to Booker T talk about it, or someone, and they were talking like, well, where the hell did like Alex Marvez even just like appear from all of a sudden? And I'm thinking, you guys all worked in the business.
Yeah.
And
they act like they just had blinders on the whole time.
yeah, like they're fans now too, but they don't understand how the business works. It's like
when Vince McMahon said, "My nigga." Booker T was right there. Well, where did you show up then?
Right.
That's the same principle, really. Yeah.
But to me, and I'm thinking, all right, well, if you want me to believe Alex Marvez is a real correspondent or whatever, he's in the back watching a teleprompter because he knows this match, like everybody else, is big news, so he's doing his job of watching this, and then as soon as he gets a chance, he's going to go interview the guy.
Yep.
I feel like when I'm listening to the podcast and these wrestlers or legends are talking about the business and trying to pick it apart, it's almost like there needs to be a thread to everything, or it doesn't make sense without you being told what's happening.
Yeah.
Like, my thought process watching this shouldn't be like, all right, well, someone just told Alex Marvez, go out there, go interview him. I should be thinking, no, he's doing his job.
He knows that
he knows he needs to be out there. He knows, all right, well, Kenny Omega isn't by the ring anymore, so what's the point of me going out there being like, well, ladies and gentlemen, where did he go? Try to catch him in the fucking heart, the beat of the moment, you know? Yep. To me, that stuff makes sense in a world that is fake. But I thought it was really cool. I'm going to be watching on the YouTube to see when Omega's on Impact because I think that is pretty sweet.
The only thing I didn't like was the whole grabbing the chairs and sitting in front of each other and slapping each other in the middle of the match.
I felt that was old school in a way, like, not old school, I don't know if it's old school, but like, it slowed it down to the point of like, yes, make this personal because...
Maybe if they were on their knees doing it, but the fact that you took the time to go grab the chairs and set them up... And,
that makes sense. Right. In the heat of the moment, you're doing that.
Yeah.
But to let your adrenaline kind of cool down in a thought process opposed to instinctual, just slap adrenaline. Yeah, I get that. I get that.
That was my real gripe with it.
I get that.
I get slowing it down, but yeah.
And the only reason I even say slowing it down is because it made me think there's Don Callis right there! There's the son of a bitch! Basically the Paul Heyman guy of I don't know what I'm saying. Drugs melted my brain.
That guy got a hug.
Oh,
because these are diehard fans.
Yeah,
man.
so most of those people in the front row are people that were in the front row for years in ECW.
Yeah, ECW. What were we just talking about? Because we'll get the AEW. We'll get back to this because it's good. But AEW, I did. I thought the world title change was pretty cool. I can't wait to see where that goes. Yada yada, blah 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 blah. And then to the big news. This was so fucking cool. I woke up 6:45 in the morning, laying in bed with my daughter, watching her just sleep, and like, all right, she's got to get up for school in a few minutes. Got to get her dressed, and I get my phone out, and I just get on YouTube to watch a video as I'm changing her. And the first thing at thumbnail it said, "Where were you when Sting debuted in AEW?" And I thought, oh, this is a hypothetical. This isn't real. And then I clicked on it, and it halfway through a beatdown of Taz's team and Cody's coalition. I tried to do a thing.
The Nightmare Family.
Yeah, it wasn't good. But that seemed fun. I can't wait to watch that when I get a chance to, because that just seemed like it might have been a fun match or whatever. Because I like the Taz stuff. But they were alluding for weeks, winter is coming. You think it's just a fucking hype game. It's a thing. And then all of a sudden the lights go out, the video comes up, it's really cool. I'm watching it with my daughter. I'm literally smiling ear to ear, giggling. And then Sting comes out. I thought it was badass. She looks at me, my daughter's 4, wrestling fan. She looks at me and she goes, "Are you excited?" or something like that. And I was like, "Oh, I'm super excited, honey. This is so cool." She's like, "You've never seen him before?" I go, "I've never seen him before in this wrestling company." And she goes, "You're excited, and I'm excited." That was just the coolest.
Cool.
Because now I can answer that question of where I was when I saw Sting debut in AEW. I was in bed, laying there with my kid, watching it with her for the first time, which is when I went back and watched like Sting's debut in TNA, which wasn't, with Jeff Jarrett alongside of him, it wasn't really as impactful as this. His debut in WWE was just, it was so overdue.
And in the WWE one, you knew what he was going to do after that point. Because he attacked Triple H.
Right.
This, you don't know what he's going to do.
Yeah, and people, critics, whoever, fans, I don't want to see him with Darby Allin in a capacity of like, here's the torch. Because it's not even in the same breath. This is a little vanilla midget wrestler that has never earned his dues, and I'm going to say that as a wrestling fan, his dues in wrestling other than being in AEW, really.
Yeah. And just because he's the brooding guy that paints half his face, you're going to put him in Sting,
I can't get over how wrestling needs to be not big macho men, but those are the guys that I believe when they're out in public, they're the superstar. Not just, because look at Darby Allin, he looks different. Well, so fucking what? I do too. Look at me. Look at me. But no, I mean, it drives me bananas. I would like to see him hand Cody his ass and turn Cody heel. Other than that, I really don't know where they're going to go with it. I'm excited, though. I will be watching.
I could see him as like a commissioner or something like that, but he'd have to drop the face paint really for that, I think.
Yeah, we wouldn't really be Sting.
Yeah.
He'd be Steve Borden.
He'd be looking like the main event mafia kind of Sting with the suit.
Which would be cool, because
yeah.
it was cool. But it's awesome. I don't even...
One of Jim Cornette's gripes was, they knew because he had his shirt on. Well, yeah, a lot of times when guys debut, they already have merch. Like,
right.
People in the company know.
Right.
Like,
they're I'm not even going to get into it, because that's a whole thing.
But his shirt is the highest selling shirt in 24 hours.
I would like it because it looks fantastic. Yeah. I really dig it. His jacket looks sweet. I like it that his hair is white. I thought, it was like, man, he just looks cool. Not white, but gray. He just looks so badass. And I'm not even going to get into the critics because it'll take me... I'll go on a rant. I don't want to do that. But those are the two main things that I saw from this past week's Winter is Coming themed AEW. I hope they put that on DVD. I know it wasn't a pay-per-view, but it was treated like an old school, like, pay-per-view almost.
Yeah, it was.
Like there's a hype to it for a fucking reason.
It was like a Clash of the Champions kind of thing. Yeah.
Very cool,
Yeah.
man.
Yeah.
Very cool. Sting, I don't want to say he's the only guy to be in all major companies, minus ECW to an extent, being major, but he's not. But he's like one of the more major guys to be in all 4 companies.
It is. I saw it live, so it was actually really cool to
Very
see
epic.
that. Yeah.
Very epic. Did you expect that?
No, I didn't. I knew. I kind of figured he was going to sign a contract when he left WWE, and Tony Khan's throwing money around, so and he does have connections with a lot of guys in that company.
And it's a multi-million deal year.
Yeah, but like you said, I just thought the Winter is Coming thing was just the thing they were doing.
When I listened to the Booker T podcast about it, the Hall of Fame, which sucks kind of, but the Brad guy that's with him, he goes, I'll be honest, I thought it was going to be Glacier. I'm like,
he does have huge ties with Cody.
But what a build up to him.
Yeah, you wouldn't build up the whole show.
Because then I'd be like, I'd have sat there and be like, no. Where was I when Glacier debuted in AEW? I was in bed with my kid and I hated it. I wanted to beat her with a pillow. But that... sums it up for my notes. Other than that, do you have anything you want to get in and out of the way, and then we'll jump right into this?
No, go right ahead, man. Because I've got notes I wanted to talk about as it's going. Yeah.
So to fill some viewers in up where we are, they've done an introduction with Joey Styles talking about it. Terry Funk talking about what this means to him and turning. I don't know if they got to that part yet, but he turns down the WWE contract. He talks about that in this.
That's part of the Forever Hardcore documentary. I'll have to borrow that.
Okay, because I know I've seen that.
Most of the video clips you see of them talking are from that documentary. Yep.
Okay.
So, yep.
I'm a huge ECW fan. First and foremost, Dave is too.
Yes.
Mark likes balls.
I used to watch it when I was younger.
Did you?
Yeah, it would be on
TBS Superstation.
Yeah.
Right? Is that what
What
was it on?
It was on 2 a.m. on New York stations and stuff. TNN had it in
TNN, that's what I'm
2000,
thinking. TNN, not TBS. Are they the Superstation though?
TBS was, yes.
They were the
Superstation.
Yeah, TBS is the Superstation. You were close.
You can't hit a home run if you never swing. So. But, so then they had Don Callis, who was, before this, in ECW known as Cyrus the Virus, right?
Yep.
Cyrus. He was a network executive who came out and probably tried to censor everything, and everybody hated him for that.
He did commentary and was the heel announcer and everything.
Now he works with obviously we just mentioned he works with Impact. He has been there for a handful of years now. Other than that, I don't really know much more about him. He was here because he is an ECW original, if you want to call him that. He
was the leader of the Truth Commission in the WWF for a little while
during
the Attitude Era.
Very good.
And then he went to ECW after.
You had Joey Styles come out, who is the voice of ECW,
and was for Raw for a while,
and for Raw for a little bit, which is pretty cool.
Yep.
And Joel Gertner. We'll try to keep track, if I didn't rip up my paper, of who we've met. You gotta.
I've got all that written down.
Do you?
Yep.
Everybody on the show
at least everybody I've met, but there's a couple that you weren't there for, but...
Jesus Christ. Here we go. I can't even take no notes. I'm ready to go, goddamn. So here we go with Joel Gertner, who looks to have a furry muskrat tied around his neck, as usual, with a rattlesnake printed jacket. Joel Gertner was... I don't know what the fuck he was. He just was, and you accept him for what he was, Mark.
He looks sleazy like Joey Ryan, but more entertaining than Joey Ryan. And
we'll kick it off for the people that we've met. Joel Gertner and Joey Styles at the very same time in New York City, which is pretty awesome.
And they are both on this kendo stick that you can see in the frame here. Joel Gertner said, I want to sign it on the spot where I got hit the most by the stick, so we signed it up on the top.
On the tip?
Yep.
That was a sexual thing.
Touch the tip.
The tip. Neither one of them signed my ECW championship because that's stupid. But I did buy this championship legitimately from a con artist. That's the cool.
That's true.
That's cool.
That is true. A shyster.
$90 for this bad boy. There's a little wear and tear on the back of it, but other than that, when I bought it, she was mint. There wasn't a single autograph on it. Since then, I've gotten. Well, I'll make it easier because I don't want to name them all. Taz and Steve Corino are the only two that are alive that I don't have the autographs of. Right? probably?
I would say so, yeah.
Okay, so there you go. Anybody that's ECW fan, you can deduce who is on this motherfucker.
That could have been on it, yeah.
Right.
At this point.
That could have been on it. Right, because there's going to be some that you're going to guess that are dead, and I didn't get to meet them because they're dead. You guessed it. But you're not going to know which ones they are, so make a list, compile it, put it in the comments, and you can win an autographed Bill Alfonso autograph and this terrific WWE product on an ECW podcast that you can smash to bits. That's how you win it. You got to get in it. So here we go. Do we want to get the Bill Alfonso story out of the way here too?
Sure.
I'll let you take that because I want to cut I want to cut the cheese.
What was it? Maybe 3 weeks ago? 4 weeks ago, maybe?
Oh, don't ask me. I'm not part of it.
We went to WrestleFest 3 down at the Colony Center Mall. There was a lot of legends there. Medusa, the Rock and Roll Express,
that was
Nasty
cool.
Boys.
That was cool. I appreciate jumping in the picture on that with you. Cool.
Kane was there. It kind of sucked that he had 2 masks on and had one that had a slit in the mouth, so it kind of defeated the purpose of wearing the fucking mask.
It did.
But that's neither here nor there. Just Incredible looked like a fucking homeless man.
He did. And you know what? You said his name. Well, put a pin in that. Hannibal, you shit on Sting coming to AEW, and you said, who wants to see a 61-year-old man come into a wrestling company, blah, 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 this is what fans want, a senior citizen. But yeah, on your next show, you're going to have the fucking headhunter or the blood period monster, whatever the fuck you are, wrestle Just Incredible in your main event. Who the fuck wants to see that, you northern Canadian fuck? Alright, back to you, Dan.
But we were excited as soon as Bill Alfonso got announced. We were both really stoked that he was going to be there. Couldn't wait to meet him.
Couldn't wait to beat him.
But we got up to the table. He was sitting next to Missy Hyatt.
Whoa, wait a minute. First, you got to say we saw him come out, and then we said,
right.
hey,
Yeah.
because that caught his attention.
Yeah.
I think, and he recognized us when we got in.
He came out while we were waiting. Not waiting in line. We were waiting for our number to be called.
That tastes like the ones from Lunchables.
And we acknowledged him, and he was all happy about that.
Yeah.
He just seemed to be happy
in
general.
He was in a great mood.
Yeah. When we finally got to the table, Missy Hyatt did not look very good at all, but
she looked like a bag of dog shit that got raped by cat shit. That's not a polite thing to say.
But also
edit that out, actually.
Yeah.
Edit that out, because if we tag him in this, I don't want him to hear that. Edit that all out.
But at the other table next to him was the Nasty Boys, so that was kind of cool. But we walked up, and Bill Alfonso, he couldn't have been nicer. We told him that we were so happy to meet him.
Yeah.
He was so genial. He gave us free autographs.
He did.
Wow.
I popped for him because the night before, he did. I just shit on Hannibal. Now I gotta put him over. Why is this accursed happening to me? So yeah, on the Hannibal TV, the one I just shit on, Bill Alfonso was on that, and he did a really good interview, which I truly, truly enjoyed the shit out of. And he talked about some stuff that I never knew. So I just interjected that in the moment of meeting him, and he popped for that. And boys, I love you, boys. Come here, boys. I got boys. Don't tell this guy I'm gonna send his autograph.
He was pretty much hugging us when we were taking the picture.
He was great. He pulled us to the side. He basically said "fuck you" to everybody else. He didn't really, but metaphorically, it felt that way.
If there weren't people behind us, we could have talked to him for a long time. He was all
awesome.
about it. Yep. And he said to me, you do Van Damme, you do Sabu, and you were like, oh no, Van Damme's my favorite wrestler,
Yeah.
I want to do Van Damme. So we did the pose, he was in between us doing the right down the middle, and it was just, the guy snapped a bunch of pictures, so it was actually really cool. I mean, it was the same thing, but
it's still good.
Yeah. It's hard to get blurry ones with the iPhones now, but, it was a lot of fun. He was the highlight of the whole thing for me,
Which is cool because he wasn't even the reason we went there originally. It was Kane.
Yep. And Kane was kind of wah, it was.
And it was in another haha, because I even said this to be sarcastic. They taste like the Lunchables ones.
Yeah, they do.
But you threw me off with doing that. You really did. But we were walking over to Kane, and I was like, well, now let's go. However I said it, sarcastically, let's, meet Kane, because we anticipated his was going to be better. But Kane's was not. It was lackluster. But the Bill Alfonso thing was terrific. It really was awesome. One of the coolest wrestlers, I'll call him that I've ever personally got to meet. Super, super nice guy. All the ECW guys I've ever met were super nice.
It just adds to the ECW ones have always been a good experience.
Except for Just Incredible. You're a dirtbag. I don't know why. I just think you're a dirtbag.
And we thought that the chick that was at your table was the star, and we didn't even know who you were.
Yeah, you looked
until
bad,
you walked
really.
by.
And I still didn't because you had to point it out.
Yeah, because I walked over to the table, and then I realized that it said Just Incredible on the sheet, and I'm
He
like...
looked like shit. This guy didn't even look like the dude you would have been like, oh, he was... No, yeah.
Was he like hungover?
No,
he's let himself go really badly. He got
he's going to wrestle? He barely looked like he can walk.
Yeah, yep.
But...
They
almost kissed. That was the plan.
On this, they're alluding back to the feud that Gertner and Don Callis had in ECW, and Joey Styles being there too, which was always part of it. So it's cool. They're actually doing a storyline in
the commentator. Oh yeah, no, I see what you're saying. Yeah.
You know, it's cool that in this,
push him.
In this video, they're doing a storyline.
Right? Doesn't he push him on his ass or no? Maybe I'm thinking of something else.
He did back in the day. I don't know if he'll do it in this, but.
Yeah. I know I've watched a lot. I don't have all the ECW stuff, but I have a lot of the random ones like this.
Yep.
Oh, here it is, right? Wherever the other.
But as Ace alluded to,
I was thinking.
Oh my God! Ginger punches.
Look at him. He's trying not to knock his hair off.
ECW did start as Eastern Championship Wrestling, run by Todd Gordon.
Todd is God.
Yep, and the original booker was Eddie Gilbert, and then he had a falling out with Todd, and then Paul Heyman was brought in.
I still think the most original booker is still T. Booker T.
I'm sorry, I didn't get that one. I'm sorry.
Yeah, it's Booker. It's Booker T.
But his first act was to bring in Public Enemy, and then to do a triple threat with Shane Douglas, Terry Funk, and Sabu.
Ooh!
Which was like an hour long, and that was like a tape trading. I want to say holy grail for a lot of wrestling fans that loved that match. And the only one that wrestled the entire hour was Shane Douglas, which they wanted anyways. They wanted him to make him the franchise, so it fit.
But what do you mean? Because like his name?
Yeah.
Oh! Look at this. Simon Diamond and Arn Anderson's illegitimate love child.
What's the F2 mean?
Where?
Or F, whatever that
On
is.
his hands?
Yeah.
It's CW. C?
Oh.
C? No, like literally C. And then
W.
I don't know what CW stands for. Crazy Wrestler Anderson.
The CW network? Fuck the network.
Speaking of that real quick, I watched season 6 of Flash. I will not be watching season 7.
Ooh.
I thought it was dog shit. I don't know what the fuck the storyline was. The season, I should never have to be told, never. And maybe some people can be like, well, Marvel movies do it, but they don't. They don't. I always know there's going to be a cliffhanger. I always know there's going to be more to come. Not once in any fucking season finale of any show should it ever say, when you leave it on a cliffhanger and then it goes to black and says, to be continued. No fucking shit! I just saw that and I'm like, oh fuck, what's going to happen now? Fade to black. Oh, to be continued. Oh, and then you're telling me to be continued. It's redundant. And that's what they did. And I didn't
do anything with the Infinite Crisis.
I only saw like the one episode,
okay.
And it was very cool. The beginning, I thought. Black Lightning was in it.
Cool.
He made his introduction to the CW world.
Nice.
Brandon Routh's Superman was in it, which was really cool because he was Brandon Routh as Superman.
That's so
while
weird.
doing Brandon Routh as the Atom in the same episode.
Whoa.
And I'm like, that's so cool though that he's Superman again. But the beginning of the episode started on Earth 303 or some bullshit, and it was so cool. It was the original Birds of Prey TV show.
No way.
Yeah, the chick that played Bruce Wayne's daughter or whatever. They like show her running across rooftop and like her world like disappearing because that was like what was happening. Their different Earths were disappearing. And I was like, that's cool.
We're
like,
really
what?
like going back.
Yeah, I'm like, what very absurd show to make a reference to. Like, who the fuck even watches besides me? Like,
yeah, I watched like episode 1 and
it's so random, but it's okay.
That's so cool that they did that.
Yeah, I thought that was pretty cool. But other than that, this season was kind of just shit.
Huh.
And I didn't see any of the other crossover stuff, so I don't know what happened yet. But other than that, yeah, that season was just shitty. But yeah, that's that. Other than that, here we're back to who's this guy?
Chris Chetty, Taz's nephew.
Oh, yeah.
You got Chris Chetty and Mikey Whipwreck against Simon Diamond and C.W. Anderson.
Not... And if you saw this... How do I want to word it?
Whipwreck?
Yep. He was never meant to be a wrestler, but he accidentally became one and he got over. But that's the thing. ECW guys, it didn't matter. Well, it did matter. I don't know how to word it. You could go into this company, and if you got over just with like the fans, it didn't matter if you looked like Mikey Whipwreck
or Spike Dudley
or Big Dick Dudley.
Yeah.
You were. It was the land for misfit toys, and I know they use that expression so many times.
It is, yeah.
But
and for a guy like Justin Credible, who was Aldo Montoya in the WWF, and they did nothing with him, to become Justin Credible and become one of the iconic guys
and now
of
he's
ECW.
a piece of shit.
Yeah. But Mikey actually, he beat Stone Cold. Well, he wasn't Stone Cold Steve Austin back then, but he beat Steve Austin in a world title match in ECW. That's how. That's how over he was.
Wow.
And that was before the company was big too.
Was Steve Austin doing the beer thing yet? Or?
No. It was in his transition from WCW, getting fired from WCW to going to WWF.
Oh, okay.
But, I mean, he was becoming partly that character, the redneck, but he hadn't established a lot of it yet. But I mean, a lot of these guys wouldn't. These would be indie guys today.
Yeah.
That they would be local indie guys today.
No.
So.
Jesus Christ, this is a 3-hour show?
Yeah. We don't have to watch all of it. They do like a...
No, I don't mind if we push it to it, because I gotta leave by like 4, and if this is over by like at least 3:30, we're good.
Alright. I didn't know about ECW until probably 97.
I was born into it. Raised by the violence.
Because I was a WWF guy, and even though, we are in the Northeast, you think I would have seen it. Like, I until people at school started talking about it, I had no clue about ECW. And then, of course, I saw the invasion they did of Raw and stuff like that, but, I didn't know about the history of the company at that point.
Right.
Didn't ECW have a lot of fluorescent light bulbs being smashed on people?
They didn't do the light tubes.
No?
They didn't do them?
No. Nope.
Not even New Jack?
No, because he did he did vacuum cleaners and fucking keyboards and Nintendos and shit like that. But I don't think he ever did the light tubes.
Huh.
If they did, it was real late in the company, and I don't remember it. But they used pretty much everything else, but I don't think they went into the light tubes thing.
Yeah.
It's cool to hear Joey Styles do the commentary on something like this before his WWE run and everything.
Kind of got like oh my god, what the fuck? I can't get his name. Cool Cabana thing going.
Yeah. Yeah, it definitely has the look of Cool Cabana. It's cool that Shane Douglas, put this together, knowing that One Night Stand was the next night, and gave these guys that weren't going to be on the show a chance to do something. And he had all the original fans that were at this arena.
Now, what guys were on the ECW one? Because didn't C.W. Anderson make an appearance in the crowd? Didn't he wrestle?
I don't know if he wrestled or not, but I know guys like Shane Douglas and Raven and. Well, you can mention Terry Funk weren't on it.
I mean, there's Justin Credible ringside right there. Seriously.
Yeah.
With the camera.
Well, most of the guys that were, TNA talent at that point.
Yeah, that's true.
Because, how cool would it have been if Raven had made an appearance, or something?
Oh, yeah.
That was iconic. And I love the Raven character because so many guys spawned off of that. You had his huge feud with Sandman. His huge feud with Dreamer. That lasted 3 or 4 years. the BWO all came from Raven, starting with Stevie being his lackey and then breaking away and forming the BWO. The Blue Meanie was, part of Raven. Beulah McGillicuddy all came from that, being with him and then being with Dreamer. There's so much, the Pit Bulls, all that stuff just spawned off of Raven and his mind and the Raven character.
I don't disagree. He was definitely wicked influential on the creation of ECW, for sure. I was really stoked when we got the chance to meet him. He was really cool.
Yeah.
There's a guy in the crowd that I keep looking at.
With the hat on?
No, off to the right behind the turnbuckle post. He looks just like Rico.
Does he?
Yeah.
ECW, I think, had a really good tag division with the FBI and Doring and Roadkill and
that's another thing I was trying to say, but didn't really know how to word it. It didn't matter. Like if you're the bigger star, you'll always be the bigger star. But it didn't matter if you were these guys in a tag team. People loved even these guys. I mean, I don't know about Taz's nephew and shit, but
yeah, pretty much anybody in the promotion that wasn't getting booed was over.
Right.
And even the ones that were getting booed, they were getting booed because they were heels, not because people didn't like them.
Right.
Like a guy like Mike Awesome shouldn't have gotten cheered by the way that he did things.
I didn't realize he was so he was in the early years of TNA.
Yeah.
So then why didn't his WWF career go anywhere?
Yeah, that's true.
I don't understand that. I thought he was transitioning. He was going to go from WCW to WWF, and he died in between that moment. I didn't realize he didn't.
No, they used him in WWF for a month, and then he was never.
I never knew that.
Yeah.
Because I was watching something with him in it the other day, some early TNA shit, and I'm like, so he could have had a decent run.
Yeah.
I'm like, that's weird.
He could have been huge in the reboot that they did in 2006 if he was around,
Yeah, oh yeah.
The educational portion of our program.
One of the great angles that I really loved was when they swerved the NWA and they did the NWA title tournament, and Shane Douglas became NWA champion, and then just threw the belt down and declared himself the ECW champion instead. That's something that really wasn't done a lot back then, and it caused a lot of controversy. Not that the NWA meant a lot at that point, but for fans that knew the history of the title, for him to throw it down and to give some shine to ECW instead. That was actually really well done, and it really established Shane Douglas as a monster heel at that point.
Right.
They did a lot of stuff like that where they went for the people that knew the inside of the business. They did certain things, that they would know, but it was still cool for the casual fan to see him throw down the title belt, even if you didn't know the history of the belt.
Right, just to see the passion in that promo itself.
Yeah.
Because it is. It's because he builds it up like, this prestigious thing, this precious thing, and then does the 180 and says, fuck this, and...
Yeah. And that might be one of the big words of this promotion is passion.
Yeah.
From the fans to the guys that, when you're not getting a paycheck, but you still show up to wrestle anyways, that's showing passion for not just your position in the company, but the company itself.
That's like I was listening to Conan and... What the fuck's his name? Disco talking to Sabu. And Sabu's talking about how much Heyman was like a piece of shit and would rip everybody off, yada yada, and they kept asking, well, what would you go back for and work for him for then if you knew he was a piece of shit? And he really didn't get an answer. It's like, yeah.
But he's one of those charismatic guys that can pump you up and, get you to do what he wants even if you think he's a piece of shit.
Charismatic. Do you mean Jew?
I need a Jew.
Mikey shit his pants and
I mean, it would have been better if Tajiri was here with Mikey Whipwreck, but
Yeah.
I mean, Chetty's an original, so getting him there is pretty cool. But the guys in the front row, the guy with the hat, and those two were in those seats at that arena for almost every fucking show that ECW
Wow.
Yeah.
did. Even like when they would go, when other promotions
Those
would
three
come in
guys
there.
right there, like the one
Yeah,
that looks like
Pretty much, that little nook.
Yeah.
the lead singer of
Take your time. Well, it's alright, Mark. We'll be your own.
But even when other promotions would come in, like WCW, they would still be in those seats for those shows too. Just because, and they would chant ECW and shit like that.
Nickelback. No.
Go home. It took you that fucking long to try to think of
Yeah.
over. You suck.
That
Yes.
little meanie! A guy that never should have gotten over, but did. With his dance and the weird promos that he would cut. But that was what was so good about the promotion. Just guys that, like New Jack, should never have been allowed in an arena with how fucking crazy he was.
Yeah.
You know? I mean, he was legitimately
Or around
stabbing guys.
children.
Yeah. Well, not that there was a lot of kids in the ECW.
No, I saw him
crowd,
pick up a kid one time and swing it at someone.
I'd be surprised.
Full bore, man. Grabbed right by the hair.
Tracy, rest in peace, Tracy Smothers.
Yeah.
And like, a crazy gimmick, like the black man being in the full-blooded Italians.
Just
You know.
Tracy Smother being in the
Yeah.
full-blooded Italians. I don't know which one is the bigger joke.
It shouldn't have worked, but it did. And then the FBI went from being a comedy act to being a legit tag team, and Guido becoming a legit. Those triple threat matches that he used to have with Super Crazy and Tajiri were fucking amazing.
Even the fact, I mean, because we both know how WWE likes to take shit that's not theirs and just destroy it or rearrange it. But they even took the FBI format and did a run with it in WWE for a little bit.
Yeah.
Which was, and they legitimized it. They made it kind of cool. And then even when ECW came back, they brought a new form of the FBI back. So it's always been a staple
Yeah.
since its inception in wrestling. It really has.
And the WWF was smart enough to, in '96, when they realized that the chants were getting louder, they had the ECW guys in the front row of Mind Games to kind of disrupt the show a little bit. And to start doing a talent exchange and start promoting the ECW pay-per-view. They had, ECW Invade Raw for the one episode, and then Van Dam started becoming a regular as Mr. Monday Night, helping Jerry the King Lawler out. They were smart enough to realize that ECW meant something and that they could do something with it. More of a value than if they had done something. Well, I mean, they could have done something with WCW, but I think they realized that doing it with the smaller promotion would have more of an impact, to get people talking,
And it doesn't take away from when you are the most dominant company, you don't want to work with the second most dominant.
Right.
Because what if that backfires on you?
Yeah.
And that goes to my conversation with you the other day of, unless Tony Khan buys Impact, to me there is no understanding of why they would put Impact on TNT. Because they're not the same company. Now, just because you share some talent doesn't mean you're sharing revenue.
Right.
So now if you got Impact, now it's on the same channel as your other wrestling company. So the one that starts doing better, that's going to be the one that outshines it, and that wasn't your intended goal.
Yep.
It was to make a cross-platform, and now you're taking away from, now WWE can topple us because we're having our own intertwined fucking problem. I just didn't see the logic in that. There's a lot of room around that ring. Holy shit.
Yeah. I mean, I could see this being him testing the waters if he wants to buy it.
Oh, I could absolutely
merits in it,
see him buying it too. Absolutely.
Because, I mean, actually, if he buys it from Anthem and Anthem sells him the app too, he could have that for, to do more AEW content, because he's got all these guys on the roster, all these people that are on Dark. And
does Impact still do a lot of stuff with New Japan or no?
I don't know if they do. I know Ring of Honor still does stuff with New Japan. I don't know if Impact is. But then again, I haven't watched it in a while either, so. But, they've got a lot of female wrestlers in Impact. They've got names like Eddie Edwards, and not that Moose is a big name, but Rhino's there. You got Heath there. So I could see them doing stuff with it, but like you said, if he's not going to buy it, There's not.
I just don't see
the gain isn't there. You know.
And I don't see any of them as like main talent.
Right.
Like, who the fuck is on that roster that I want to see? And I know you don't like Kenny Omega, but like as the world champion, I'm thinking of him. Who do I want to see on that roster go against Kenny Omega?
Yeah.
No. I really can't think of anybody that jumps out of my mind. Well, Eric Young, he's their world champion. Or Rich Swann. Like, Rich Swann, really?
Yeah. That's like when they made, like, Saban, you know, TNA champion, you know, that, yeah. Yep. It's like a feel-good
It would be
story
something different if it was, like, TNA from 2010 and, like, Bully Ray.
Yeah.
Or 2012 even, or whatever the fuck Aces and Eights was, and you had Bully Ray as the world champion, you're like, oh, fuck.
Yeah, or a guy like Bobby Roode or somebody
yeah,
that had a
James
really good
Storms
match with.
or something.
Yeah. The Where's My Pizza chant, stuff like that.
Because they're Italian.
Yeah. And then when they had the really fat guy, Sally Graziano, he's like 600 pounds, the crowd, they would chant, Where's My Pizza? And then the other half of the crowd would chant, Sally ate it. So, you know, just stuff like that. It was creative as fuck, the stuff that they came up with.
This guy's a nut.
And when, you know, when the women would come out, they would chant, she's got herpes and shit like, just, you know, like, but the fact that ECW was still chanted today.
Hold on, wait a minute. The way you put that all together was awful. You say, you give these fans a praise by saying the way they come up with these chants is great or whatever, and then you follow it up by saying, and then they would chant if it was a woman, she has herpes. That's not a great chant at any time.
I'm not saying it's a great chant.
No, your timing and placement was quite horrible there, because me as a listener, I'm like, wait a minute, what?
Were they implying that she was a whore?
Right.
Yeah.
They're
Yeah.
whores.
With most of the women there, they did it, yeah.
Because they were. I mean, it's a legitimate chant.
Yeah.
No, I can't.
Dude.
They're doing the dance-off, the classic Tracy Smothers Blue Meanie dance-off.
Man.
And Tracy Smothers is a guy who shouldn't dance, but it got over.
Yeah, he's.
You know, I was thinking, cause I never watched it, but I saw the thumbnail on YouTube of like a dance-off in some indie company with like big names, and it had like, who's in the thumbnail? Fuck. Drew McIntyre.
Yeah, the one they did at WrestleMania last year, yeah. Or,
Is that what
it wasn't at WrestleMania, it was at one of the indie promotions, but like everybody in the ring started dancing.
And I'm thinking, this is why, to me, the talent isn't believable. And I'm not saying there's a dance-off, because these guys can have it, but that's their thing.
Yeah.
These guys, look at these guys. They're not going to be in the main event. You're not going to see Stone Cold Steve Austin and The Rock doing a dance-off. Now, yeah, you could probably see him doing a sing-along.
Right. But Austin was singing at that point. You know, he was singing backstage and shit, so yeah.
So for me to see someone like Drew McIntyre, and again, I didn't see the video, it's like, I thought you were like this big, badass, Scottish fucking Celt warrior.
He did dance really quickly, and then he just headbutted the fuck out of him.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Okay,
and then
so-
the match really started, so yeah.
Alright, I guess. But you know where I'm going with
Oh
that
yeah,
shit.
no, I get it. Yeah, I get it. I wish I had been more into this when I was younger, because to know that it was on Saturday nights and I could have watched that, you know, not just worry about Raw, to see these guys, and I think I got Barely Legal, but I can't remember. If I did, it was over at somebody else's house. But like stuff like this with the referee slamming one of the guys.
That should be a DQ.
It's ridiculous, but in this promotion it fits.
Especially with these characters and everything.
Yeah. And they would do stuff like that sometimes, and then other times they were really serious with a lot of their matches.
Where's the Blue Meanies tag team partner? Or is that not?
Who was it? Was he with Nova or no?
I don't think Nova.
No, Nova was Simon Diamond or Simon Dean at this point,
Yeah.
wasn't he?
Yep.
So
I think
Blue
JT
Meanies-
Smith just came out just to be part
Now,
of
Mark,
the
you
FBI.
know the NWO, Hulk Hogan, Scott Hall, and Kevin Nash, right?
Mm-hmm.
So in ECW, they did it as like a goof. It was the Blue Meanie, this other guy known as Supernova, and then another guy, Steven Richards, Big Stevie Cool. and they parodied. Yeah,
Yep.
that's the word. The NWO, and Blue Meanie would come out as like the Scott Hall character, the one with the toothpick.
He would have a chicken bone in it, like a chicken wing bone in
And
it.
so that was his thing, and then
Cool.
Supernova would come out as like a Hulk Hogan and Macho Man kind of knockoff, and then Big Stevie Cool was clearly like a Hogan / mostly Kevin Nash, but they were the BWO. That's like where the Blue's coming from.
Yeah,
They were the Blue World Order,
And they couldn't get sued because it was parody, so...
and
yeah.
it started off as just a gag, but it became a real thing, and even to this day,
like most things there.
yeah, and it got over and became a thing. So his tag team partners. Steven Richards, I'm not sure where he was.
He was in WWE at that
Was
point.
he?
Still, so, yep. Yeah.
Because he was he wasn't with Victoria at that. That was a couple years prior. But so all right, both of his tag team partners are with WWE at this point, so they couldn't be here.
Gotcha.
So that's why this is kind of being played up like, where's your partner and
Yeah.
not two against one, but the odds against a deal.
Yeah.
And when Dennis Rodman was in the
That's
NWO,
cool
they
shit.
had Thomas the Inchworm Rodman on ECW. When Six was in the NWO, they had 7-Eleven instead of 6. You know, so it was
7-Eleven.
yeah. So it was just they parodied it completely and did it so well. And like he said, it was just supposed to be a goof. That was the time when they were coming out dressed like Kiss. And Stevie Richards would come out like Baron Von Raschke. It was just a joke from Raven, and it became a thing.
This guy's...
Now they're actually doing the dance-off. I wish I could have seen Tracy Smothers live. That would have been... To know that he was doing this kind of stuff on the indies is...
Oh my
is fucking
God.
great.
That's something you would do, Mark.
Yeah, it is.
That's how you dance.
That's how I dance.
Remember last year at the Christmas party, you had a couple eggnogs.
Yeah. Got a little tipsy.
And then next thing you know, you see Mark on the floor shaking his stuffed bare ass naked, using a cat scratch post in the most inappropriate way you ever saw.
Yeah.
Can't believe you still have
Someone's
that.
gotta do it.
There's no wonder those cats' nails are so damn long. They don't want to go near that. They get a smell of that cat post and they're like, ah, Mark was here.
Right.
And it's funny to think someone like him existed in the WWF.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And that was only because Russo wanted him in because they had the ECW.
Mhm.
You know, they were hot in ECW. Really, he wouldn't have... If it was just
Yes.
Vince booking, then a lot of those ECW guys never would have been in there.
Right.
Like a guy like Taz, if Taz didn't have the mystique behind him, they never would have signed him. He was way too small for Vince to even give him a look, really.
And like, think about that. Think of if they weren't influenced by this company, if they didn't get those people or these types of people to come in and change the guard, you'd still have for a product. You would have never had Austin.
Yeah.
You would have never had The Rock and Austin at WrestleManias and any of that.
And I've seen shoot interviews where Russo said he never watched ECW. Fuck you, you didn't.
Oh yeah.
You wouldn't have known who these guys were if you didn't watch the product.
Right.
You know?
Right. Bro, let me fucking tell you, bro. I ain't never watched ECW in my fucking life. The only time I watched ECW, bro, was when I was doing the alphabet and couldn't figure out where the fuck I was, bro.
Now, a guy like Bischoff saying he never watched it, I can understand that. I could see him being the guy that just got word from people that this guy's got buzz. You know what I mean? I could see, but I can tell that you can tell that Russo watched.
With Bischoff,
Yeah.
I truly believe when Hogan was not running shit, because I don't know when specifically, but when him and Hogan became tight, I believe for Bischoff, if Hogan didn't look at you or Hogan didn't think twice about you, then I'm not either.
Yep.
So, like, back to what you were saying, I totally believe, yes, word of mouth.
Yep. And like Sandman's contract comes up, and they want to start a hardcore division. I could see somebody backstage saying, "Hey, Sandman will pop a rating for us.
Mhm.
You know, bring him in, give him whatever contract you want to give him.
Let
you
him
know,
do his thing.
Yeah, you know." We've already. I could see Bam Bam because he was already in the company at that point.
Well, Bam Bam-
being the kind of guy that says,
yeah.
"Hey, this guy would be good."
Mhm.
I've had matches with him. He would be good to, to bring
To
in.
put over people or have
Yeah.
people put him over, whatever
Yep.
one.
Yeah. I was actually shocked when Bam Bam went to WCW. I didn't think that
What do
was
you have
going
in
to
his hand?
happen.
Loaded fucking hand or something?
Yeah, it looked like it. And Tracy Smothers gets the win after the cheating from
that
JT
Poor
Smith.
dude.
using every piece of cheap
Oh,
Yep,
yeah.
had a chain.
in the book to get the win.
Does this mean, like, fuck you?
Yeah.
Yep.
Yes, it does.
But like the FBI had guys that should. I mean, Tracy Smothers shouldn't have been in it. Tommy Rich, who was as Southern gets.
Big fat white
You know,
dude,
a
right?
former NWA, world
Blonde
champion.
dude?
You know, yeah.
Who was he with? Wasn't he with Carino?
The great underdog.
No, that was Jack Victory. That was just.
Oh, that's something I
Yep. And a guy like Carino, I don't think ever would have. I mean, his promo skills were great, but I don't think he would have. He would have been a mid card, maybe a lower card guy in the WWF if they ever gave him a chance. You know. And now he's training guys in NXT.
I didn't know he was actually training anybody.
Yeah. I think he's doing more of the promos, but I would imagine he's probably.
Now you're watching right now the tribute, I guess if you want to call it that, to all the guys that have died.
Yeah. Brian
Pillman!
the loose cannon, who was. People still to this day say he pissed in the ring and he never did.
He's one of my favorites because I did get to see Pillman when I was a kid.
Yeah. The Public Enemy.
Flavor Flav?
Yes.
I liked their time in WCW actually more than I did in ECW.
Is that
These
Gary
boys
Wolf?
are gonna wrestle?
No.
No.
Oh, okay.
Gary Wolf and Johnny Grunge.
They were both parts of two different tag teams that were ECW originals, and both of their partners died.
Oh.
Shane Douglas actually broke Gary Wolf's neck in the ring at one point.
The guy in the red.
Yep. And then when he had a halo, one of the ones that's like screwed into your skull, Shane Douglas grabbed it and like
Like a surgical kind of.
yeah, and just threw him down to the ground, and the crowd went fucking crazy.
Crazy, I say! They all lost their minds and they had to be institutionalized. Crazy!
That must have hurt.
And Douglas said when he got out to the car, because they had to be led out of the arena,
Mhm.
he was checking himself for stab wounds.
See, I'd have definitely fucked her at this point.
Yeah. And because he said that one time he was talking to Terry Funk, and Terry Funk said that if you had gotten stabbed, you wouldn't know it until later, because you wouldn't know it until the adrenaline wore off.
Yep.
That's crazy. Yeah, she was still good looking at this point.
Who is this guy's?
Sonny.
Sunny.
Oh.
She's coming out to honor Chris Candido.
It's funny because she looked amazing before all this, didn't look that bad here, and then a handful of years later when we met her, I thought she looked so sexy.
Oh, yeah, she was amazing.
Man, that coke was a hell of a drug for her. Seriously, slimmed her right out and everything.
Yep. And now she's still doing Skype shows in between
Twice
prison
as big as
stints.
this.
Yep. Did a porn at one point.
Basically, her tit's gonna fall out. She might as well just come out topless. I don't know why
Right.
she never did.
Yeah.
More like sunny nights are in her future. The lights off. You know what I'm saying? So when are you gonna go through that list of people we've met, or were you just? I thought you were gonna go through it as we were. As it was coming out, I was just
Let's see.
thinking of it.
Well, the most recent one, Bill Alfonso, Mick Foley.
Well, no, I thought you were gonna go through the pay-per-view.
Oh.
You
all
got
right.
this one.
So we've met Sonny, we've met Joel Gertner, we've met Joey Styles. No, not the Blue Meanie or Tracy Smothers. We met Simon Diamond at a TNA show. Yelled his name through the entire fucking show, and he finally acknowledged us. Is there anybody else so far? I mean, this is a cool tribute to guys that have.
Didn't you meet Whipwreck?
Yeah, I did. That's right. I did meet Whipwreck. Yeah, the one you couldn't go to.
I'll get you through this show. You stick with me, kid.
Are they saying shut your mouth?
Suck it.
They're probably saying "show your tits" to her.
Oh, yeah, you're right.
Because that was a popular chant too.
He's dressing in his best Charlie Sheen gimmick.
He's winning. He's totally winning.
I don't know if he could get in. Could he wrestle anymore, that big guy?
Oh,
He was about that big when he
Big.
wrestled.
Yeah. A lot of these guys were athletic, even though they were big. They could still,
What the fuck was Gary Wolf still? Like,
Cocaine is a hell of a drug.
It's like I've never seen him wrestle outside of his time in ECW anywhere.
Yeah, I've never seen him in an indie. I've never seen him, advertised anywhere. The only thing he ever did was with the Pitbulls, and once the Pitbulls broke up, he didn't do anything after that.
No.
No.
Which he's got like a decent look.
Yeah. He lived off of the whole Shane Douglas thing for a while, and then after that, it was really nothing. Because, I mean, he never came back for a later ECW pay-per-view.
Never like a TNA anything?
Yeah.
Like, never nothing.
Yep. But then he'll come back for something like this. It's kind of weird. Well, I get, honoring his partner, but he never really did anything.
No. Show your titties, you bitch. Ain't nobody give a fuck about nothing but your boobs. It's true.
You got a lot of men in that arena.
Meeting Gertner and Styles, that was a really good day. That was...
I was quite taken back when Styles said he took his family to Lake George for the Great Escape and vacations.
Yeah.
Oh, wow.
Yep. To know that connection, when we mentioned where we were from, that he mentioned that.
Not even, my thought was Jesus Christ, you can go anywhere.
Yeah.
You can go to the Great Escape in Lake George. Dude, there's a Six Flags in New Hampshire. It's 10 times the fucking place. Look at them boobs. Look at them taters on her chest, bud. Slather them in gravy.
Turkey's done.
Slather those taters in gravy and mash them.
I've met these two, Danny Doring and Roadkill.
I think that dude built me a shed once.
That's the one where
He's on the Quaker oatmeal box. That's where I saw him.
Where I went down with Stone Cold Steven. Him and I went down and met them. They were real nice, too. They were happy that we drove that far to meet just them.
They are cool, because I've listened to a couple of the podcasts. Or not podcasts, but interviews with them. And Danny, he's quite the character.
I'm surprised they never did a TNA run as a tag team.
They did. You missed it. You missed it.
And you put an Amish character with just a guy that is supposed to be a playboy, and it should not.
But it
work.
worked.
Yeah,
They were probably the most over tag team, other than, in my opinion, other than maybe the Public Enemy or the Dudley or something.
Yeah.
That's about it.
And they're the reason that Lita got a look too, because they brought her in to be the valet for them, and that's how she got noticed by WWF was, being Miss Congeniality with Doring and Roadkill.
I fucked a lot of bitches and I drank a lot of liquor, but I ain't never seen no pussy needing to get licked quite like yours, Gary Wolf. That's something he would say.
Wow.
His finishing move was called the panty drop elbow. He did a wheelbarrow suplex and he called it wham bam, thank you ma'am. Most of his stuff, just like Gertner, was all sexual.
Yeah.
Love it.
And he talks like a real piece of shit, but he's so funny.
Yeah, and Lita said that
he was so funny.
And she heard that his reputation was that, and she said he was the nicest guy to her in the locker room.
Really?
She went in thinking that he was this douchebag that was a douchebag to women, but he was actually a nice guy.
He's funny. A lot of his interviews are really funny.
And this is what they would do in ECW, too. A serious moment like this, they would have somebody come out and shit on it, and then it would turn into a match.
Okay.
I mean, they gave him plenty of time to have the serious moment.
Sure.
So...
Yeah.
Because you don't want to send the crowd home sad. You want to send them home... Well, anything but sad, I guess. Send them home diseased if you want. Gary Wolf looks like the more in shape version of Rhino. And my brother is Rhino, and I'm a pit bull.
The sweat from my balls!
You ever been ball sweater from a wolf?
That guy's just some cocaine. Look at him.
Yeah, he's a
a lot of those guys were doing a lot of cocaine just to get to the ring.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Which is crazy, because, how they managed to do it. Because the one time I did cocaine, I was on the rooftop of Walmart thinking I was in a bathtub at home with 6 rubber duckies and a stripper.
And most of these guys that did all the drugs didn't die until after they're done wrestling. You know, you would think with all the drugs that they were doing at that point, they might have died at that point.
Kept their hearts going.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Oh my God! Danny Doring grabbed his dick!
It's funny.
Shit, they even brought Danny Doring and Roadkill into the new ECW for a little bit.
Yeah. Yep. When that first started, I really liked it.
I did too.
You know, even the new breed, like in 07 when they were going against the originals.
Mm-hmm.
But then when it was just pretty much a springboard for the developmental guys. It was. I mean, the feud with Regal, stuff with Regal was fun. You know,
Well, no,
but
I know what you're talking
a lot
about,
of it, and then they did like the talent exchange with with SmackDown.
Mm-hmm.
It just watered it down, and then they went to that god awful looking fucking championship belt.
I think these
You know.
guys should have had a title run in WWE in the new ECW.
Yeah. Oh, it's 911.
Oh my God, 9/11! Watch out for your towers!
Is he a cop or something? Or
No,
what?
his whole gimmick was he was a bodyguard for Paul Heyman,
Whoa.
and the crowd would just chant 911. His whole thing was he would just come out and chokeslam people.
That's it.
And that's it. He would
Cool.
never wrestle.
He had long
Cool.
black hair back in the day, though, like they
Yep.
all did.
I met him at the ECW thing where I met Spike, but I didn't.
Was he there?
Yeah, I didn't want to. I just didn't care about. He wasn't part of the era that I really latched onto, so I didn't really want to. Like,
He has a presence, but it's not.
like all you did was go in and chokeslam people. It's not like you really, you know,
Yeah, but
did
you
much.
you
All
wanted
you
to
did was-
meet, I don't know. There's nobody in comparison. Oh,
I missed the table.
why did he not put him through the table?
Right? Unless they're gonna do like have Gary Wolf do the super
I've seen
bomb.
this, but I don't remember any of it.
Yeah, I haven't watched it in a long time.
Like these guys, I was high on cocaine.
Cocaine's a hell of a drug.
It's a hell of a drug, and I suggest you don't do it. You bring it to my house, and I'll do it.
But I did bring this one, the November Rain one. It was the second one that they did, so
I'll
so
watch
you
that.
can see that.
Oh man, this
It's got
big,
the
It's sad
this
seeing little
big
big old
boy.
tits hanging
It's got
out.
the a second Taipei death match between Axel and Ian Rotten, so that's pretty cool.
That table barely snapped.
Well, because he's a little fella.
Look at him, he's a cruiserweight. Look
Yeah, I'll
at him.
definitely check that out.
Yeah, Sunny did look good, but it was definitely she looks like that now, even worse actually.
Is this just like the thing that you did?
Yeah, that was the Public Enemies thing. I
Oh.
can't remember what song it is they came out to.
Oh wow.
But yeah, it was. You know what? I think it was "Here Comes the Hot Stepper" by Heine Kamosi from the '90s.
I think
that was the song that they came out
I think
to
it was
for a
Whoop
while.
There It Is.
They did.
Oh, yeah!
Oh!
Woo! Welcome to ECW, where you need a 911 call for a guy named 911.
I missed it.
He
What
tried
happened?
to put Sunny up on his shoulder and he couldn't hold her up. That's when you know you need to go on a diet, Sunny. Just saying.
I wouldn't even say it was Sonny. I'd say that was him. It looked like his knee blew out.
So it's too.
I would have totally pulled her back and
It's
scooted
too
her ass
sweaty.
across my face when I fell. I'm like, well, it's just the nature of the beast, baby.
Yep.
She's probably thinking that was a rib. These cocksuckers are trying to get
Whoa!
me naked.
Speaking of which,
What is happening here?
yeah, 911 looks like he can barely get on his knees, so lifting somebody up probably wasn't a good idea. Somebody that wasn't helping you with it.
I'm gonna put I don't know.
But some of the a couple of guys that we met that weren't at this show, we met Rhino at a CTWE show. That was a cool experience, and we were helping set up the ring and stuff, and he was just kind of walking around and stuff and talking to people. So that was pretty cool.
That was cool. He was very nice.
One thing that I remember mostly about that building was
The man beast.
Rob Van Dam. We met Rob Van Dam at a big time wrestling event.
In New Hampshire? Massachusetts.
I want to say Massachusetts.
Yeah, that's pretty cool.
Yeah, D'Lo Brown was there and Demolition.
That's when I ran around in the corner trying to find the bathroom, and John Cena's dad was sitting there up against a car, smoking a cigar, and I was just like, well, where's the bathroom?
Badass.
And then they just pointed off over to the other direction. Okay.
Yep.
John Cena's dad.
Yeah.
Yeah, he does like he promotes local shows and stuff. So
I didn't expect it though because I wasn't advertised. We never mentioned. I don't know. And I was like, oh fuck, that's John Cena's dad. I recognize you.
Wow.
yeah, see like this video of Kid Cash talking. This is all from the documentary.
Our wrestling, a household name for a long time.
I liked him as a tag team with Jamie Noble as the Pitbulls and on SmackDown when they did that for a
It
while.
kind of looks like Charlie Hunnam. That guy did.
It's actually Matt Taven. From that one moment, it looked like him. No, it's Emilio Estevez's steroided brother, Carmelo Estevez.
And he would legit come out to Kid Rock. You know, they were totally playing off of the fact that he looked like Kid Rock.
He does look like Kid Rock a little bit.
This guy here?
Yeah.
A little bit.
Yeah.
But he wrestled a pay-per-view match with his jaw wired shut.
That's
He
kind
had
of
to dive
badass.
over the top rope and shit. Like he wasn't medically cleared, and they told him he couldn't wrestle, and he said, "Well, if I don't wrestle, I'm quitting." And he was one of the hot acts at the time.
You'll see
So they
him do some
couldn't-
flips
Yeah.
and stuff.
But he had a good run in TNA for a while too.
He must have had a shit personality or something because he just never was booked in like a capacity of like
What the hell?
I don't even know. I really don't know. He was always used right or used, but it just
He never went anywhere.
yeah.
It never.
No, he
yeah.
never in any company. He always stayed that mid card or whatever level he was at.
Yeah, maybe he did have a shit personality, or just talked at the wrong times or something. you
Or
know?
just was like a Jerry Lynn.
right.
Like, I'm alright where I'm at. I don't really need to go anywhere else. I'm cool with this. But when I think of that, it's like Jerry Lynn, like even Kid Keswick, you guys can wrestle. Like,
Yeah.
there's no reason you shouldn't have been like the Bret Harts or an Owen Hart of your era or your company.
Yep. I mean, when he was getting hot in ECW, he had the misfortune of being behind Van Dam, who was becoming really hot.
Who was really
you know?
hot for that.
And
that
Van
same
Dam was
style.
doing the same kind of stuff, so, maybe if Van Dam wasn't there, he
But they
might
should have glorified like the cruiserweights,
Yeah.
or maybe not the cruiserweights, but even in ECW, you could have had your technical wrestlers, which was like your Dean Malenkos and shit, but then emphasized, okay, you can have cool matches with Sabu and RVD, but what about the cool matches like this? With Too Cold Scorpio, Rob Van Dam, the Kid Cashes, and let them... I mean, I guess they did. It's hard to explain, I guess. I don't know.
Yeah.
Because they do everything that you think, and then you think there should be more, and I don't know. Because like even Scorpio, I don't know, WWE dropped the ball with him.
Oh, yeah, making him Flash Funk, and, yeah.
Should have had him come in like a character like this that they had nothing like.
Yeah, I mean...
And then him and Ahmed Johnson, if they could have been like a tag team.
Right.
To some extent of like, this dude's a powerhouse, this dude is like an all-around fucking high flyer badass.
Yep. I mean, he had his time in WCW, too, with the tag team with Buff Bagwell and shit. He's a guy that bounced around a lot. He's done a lot in Japan.
Yeah.
Yep.
He's fun.
Yeah.
I thought it was cool when they brought him back into TNA when they did their Hardcore Justice.
Yeah.
Mark, now let me ask you a wrestling question. You ever get your zipper stuck and have to wrestle your penis out your pants?
Zipper stuck?
I didn't say unstuck.
You ever zip your wiener in your zipper?
Ooh!
That.
A question with a question. Yes, I have.
Yes, I have, too.
That's the worst.
That was the day I got shalom shalom, if you know what I'm talking about.
Shalom in the home.
No more. I didn't think.
I'm trying to read what it says on his pants.
It says Scorpio is too cold to hold and too hot to trot. I don't know what the fuck it
It
means.
says like come home or something. He's an odd looking gentleman.
Yeah. He's an amazing athlete, though.
Yeah.
Yeah. And that's another thing that people used to shit on ECW, saying it's only hardcore. But it really wasn't, because you had great athletes like this that put on great matches. I mean, and at one point,
And I think it's because the political thing with someone like Scorpio is, I can't say you don't look the part because the motherfucker's built great.
right?
But I think you're too unconventional.
Yeah. But I mean,
You don't control, you don't have self-control or whatever to where
yeah.
we can make, I don't know. But like, I think someone like him and Shinsuke, if Shinsuke wrestled at this point in time, they would have had some pretty interesting personality clashes and wrestling styles.
Yep. But at one point in ECW, you had Benoit, Malenko, Guerrero, Rey Mysterio, and Juventud Guerrera. You had real legitimate guys that could put on a good match, and guys like Jerry Lynn and stuff like that. So it wasn't all about the hardcore, but that's what was glorified by everybody.
Mm-hmm.
You know, they did have a lot of that, but it wasn't the main thing of the promotion. You get Jerry Lynn and Rob Van Dam. Yes, they were using chairs in the match, but it made sense for the match. New Jack was just bringing weapons just to beat the shit out of people, you know, and that was his gimmick too. But it, you know, I think that the hardcore stuff was well placed where it wasn't. It made sense to what they were doing. It, you know.
Paul Heyman always said it. Accentuate the positives, hide the negatives.
Yep.
If you put, and I'm not saying any of this was positive or negative, but I'm just saying it in the sense of how WWE, even though, and same with or WCW, they made their hardcore matches kind of a joke after a while, especially WCW.
Yep.
But when you have very little hardcore matches, everything else just kind of falls into place and seems like it's all the same. And then it's like, oh shit, here's that hardcore match. But with ECW, say they have 6 matches on their card. 4 of them are going to be hardcore matches depending on your version of hardcore for that match. Because not all of them are blood, sweat, 100 tables, 100 ladders. They vary. They absolutely vary. But I'm just saying it, generalizing it. And then 2 of your matches are these. Well, that's just going to make me not so much watch these more, but I'm paying attention to these more because now there's less of this.
Yep.
And like you kind of were saying, they sprinkled it, however you said it, right, to where they treated the wrestling as a treat.
Yep.
Not so much the hardcore shit, even though it should have been the other way around. But that's what ECW became famous for, was the hardcore wrestling with real wrestling involved, opposed to we're the Attitude Era and we've got The Rock and Austin with a hardcore battle royal earlier in the night. You know what I mean? And I think that was their secret recipe to success.
And they didn't treat the hardcore stuff as comedy, like you said, like WWF. WWF had it, you know, legitimate for a while.
For a little bit.
And then when it was 24/7 with Crash Holly going to a fucking, you know,
it was a parody of
fun
hardcore.
spot kind of place, you know, yeah. And WCW did it just to do it. Yeah, you know, to get guys that they were paying on their roster some TV time, you know, for doing nothing. Yeah. And yes, they didn't do like DQs and countouts and stuff in ECW, but for the grittiness of the show, and you know, it's called Extreme Championship Wrestling. That's the way it's going to be, you know. But it doesn't mean you can't have a kick-ass fucking match that has some semblance of rules, you know. And they did do a lot of comedy with like the Blue Meanie and the Tracy Smothers, and they did, but it wasn't a main thrust of the show. You know, now they're doing it, and it's a main part of the fucking show.
Right, the joke is the segment.
Yeah, you know.
Now I know we are in December. 'Tis Christmas season.
Christmas.
It's Christmas season.
Look at Scorpio just.
You know, be the part. Dress the part, you know? Mark, what's wrong? What's wrong, Bubby?
Nothing. Wait, is that another onesie? It is!
Is this disconcerting? That I'm a grown adult with onesies?
I just love the fact that the lights have been going off underneath the outfit
just
the
turned
whole
it
time.
on.
Oh, alright.
That's awesome. Is it Snoopy? No, it's a gangster.
The gangster Santa.
That's cool.
Oh, the zipper's in the back. Oh, how am I going to get my phone? Because that was the whole reveal.
Yeah.
I think Scorpio was wrestling for Pro Wrestling Noah, Tajiri's promotion at this point.
Pro Wrestling Noah?
Yep. I don't know what the acronym stood for.
What did it stand for?
I don't know.
Oh.
I know that like the promotion that Jericho wrestled for in the early '90s was called War.
I was going to say Arc. Because of the Noah.
But
Arc.
it was because they don't know English very well. It was Wrestle and Romance, but it was a hardcore fucking promotion, which I thought was kind of funny.
Wrestling Romance.
Yep.
Yeah, Wrestling Romance?
Wrestle and Romance. That's what, and they called it War. I'm like that makes no fucking sense whatsoever. But all right.
He not speaky so good.
With the Christmas onesies, okay?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool.
It's looks like a little tight in the...
I thought I tied my dick! It's only because I'm huge in the dick. I got bit by a radioactive rattlesnake, and now I have a horrible infection in my penis. You don't get bit by radioactive anything.
No.
It's like Thor Ragnarok. Tony wears his pants really tight, and he keeps tugging on it. Why are you tugging so much?
Because this is short in the shoulders or something, because I can feel it. Or I'm just hung. I'm going to go with the second one. Or the latter of the two.
Do you remember the first ECW event you watched?
No.
No?
No. It would have been on a DVD.
Yeah. The one I remember the most watching on pay-per-view was Anarchy Rules 99 when Mike Awesome won the world title when Taz got eliminated in the triple threat match. Right after.
Right in the beginning? And it was him and Masato Tanaka?
Yep.
And everybody was like, no! There's a new champion because Taz is the first one to go!
And he still was in the
like
promotion for like another month.
It was something like that.
Yeah.
I would say, I don't know what my first season
Yeah.
is. I really don't. It's something along the lines of either when Terry Funk won the championship in the ladder match with him and Steven Richards and Raven,
Oh, yeah.
or it was Terry Funk and Sabu, Born to be Wired! Either way, it was Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Terry Funk would be the guy that got me into ECW.
When I was making notes for this promotion, I was just thinking the lasting impact that this company has had, and that they were the third promotion. They had action figures, they had video games, they had DVDs, they had their own magazine at one point. As shitty of a businessman as Paul Heyman was, to create something this good that became, the huge promotion that it was. People can shit on it all they want and say that it wasn't as big. It was the number 3 promotion, and if it had the machine behind it that the other companies had, it would have totally been neck and neck. It would have had the national TV deal, a good one. If Heyman had been the businessman and maybe had delegated more to other people, to take care of certain things, he wasn't doing it all himself. I think it would still be around today. But just the lasting impact. Nobody's chanting WCW.
Nobody chants any other 3 letters in a wrestling company.
Yeah. I mean, the only reason that people chant ROH or TNA was because ECW had that lasting effect. It became a thing because of ECW.
Look at that woman, that poor lady.
And this is where Cash can even up the odds against Scorpio.
I do hate it when I see fans by the gate or whatever like that sitting front row that have no reaction.
Yeah, that don't. Yeah, why are you there then? Why did you?
Why are you there? And I'm constantly when they're by the guardrails like that. I'm like, all right, I'm ready to get the fuck up in case the motherfucker come at me.
Yep.
Now I'm not a brittle old lady or a big old large man, so I'm not just gonna sit there like I can take that.
And you clearly have a VIP pass, so you know about this promotion, and you're not showing any emotion whatsoever.
Right, come on.
And it's cool to see the Atlas security that was always at ECW doing security for the ECW shows, and to know that they're doing security
Ooh, what a
for
fucking
AEW.
dump he took. Just a fucking utter fucking dump.
Yeah.
Can we watch that again? We sure can. We sure can. Oh, we freeze frame it to show you how much of a fucking dump
He did take a dump.
I wish that bald guy wasn't there. Let's watch that.
Oh.
He was doing his best to avoid the guardrail and not worrying about how he
Where
was
he's
going to
land out of the
Yep.
chairs. He's gonna do a flip.
Oh!
Dude.
Tope con hilo!
Right into the crowd. That kid just got... Oh, that's so cool. That's cool.
But if you think that's cool, you wouldn't be able to. You wouldn't be able to handle Carlito.
That's so
But she's so
wicked.
cool.
Look at how they don't even care. Can he pin him right there or no?
No, most of their... I don't think they did very many falls count anywhere. They would go into the crowd, but they wouldn't do falls count anywhere.
Oh, then
You just called him a fucking faggot, man. I'd have been like, you want to suck my dick?
Talking shit.
Shit talking. Get the toilet paper out because there's a lot of shit getting talked. It's not Kid Cash, he's Kid Wet.
The crowd just chanting, "We can't see shit." I forgot that this event had the commemorative chairs for the ringside.
Referee John Peterson put the count on Two Cold Scorpio.
The count? When did they ever do count outs? What are you talking about?
If I was like the referee, I would do it like the count. 1! Two! And then that would just piss the wrestler off even more. Like, oh my god, shut the fuck up! Nobody cares about your Sesame Street! I'm beat up
Word of the
wrestlers.
day is pile driver.
Super kick. What's so super about it? Boom! 6! Look at the big ears. You know he's hearing it.
Really took a beating at the hands of the whole body of Q Cash. And Cash just waiting for Scorpio.
That shouldn't have been. That he should still continue to go now. Oh damn!
No protection.
I got the black rattled right off me.
The Athletic Commission does not mandate that we use them, and therefore we don't.
What do you? The referee don't see this?
Right? Oh man, that must have hurt hitting him in the shoulder. Oh, get your hands up. There you go.
Championship belt all the way from Japan, maybe regretting it.
Damn.
Oh, that was a stiff one.
I don't see the point of a count out. If you can get hit with a belt,
Right?
I'd pull his nipple ring right out.
Oh man.
Did anyone watch that Tyson fight?
I watched clips of it.
Oh, it was rough.
I would say the decision would have went to Tyson.
Yeah.
Like I said originally, Jones just got paid to do it, went in there and just took punches.
They kept hugging each other.
Well, because it was an exhibition.
Once
But
they got the money, they really didn't give a shit. You know.
Yeah, right? We'll do a little this, a little that.
Because I mean, realistically, Tyson would knock him the fuck out. You know.
Yes. Yep.
But they weren't gonna go full bore into it.
No. Sadly.
Fucking Ron White. He's smoking a stogie right there.
Yep. Back when you could do that shit.
He's gonna put it out on one of those guys' back.
Oh, that would be intense. I would be up for that, bud.
Yeah.
I don't know if we've told the story before, but when I got Raven to sign this kendo stick, we were at a small World of Hurt show in Whitehall, and Brutus the Barber Beefcake was also on that show. And one of the guys, when they actually had security at the show, said that my kendo stick was too dangerous and that I couldn't keep it in the building. Yet, later on in the night, they auctioned off Brutus Beefcake's hedge clipping trimmers to a child, and they got to have it for the rest of the show.
Wow.
But my stick was too dangerous.
My stick.
But Raven was actually really cool at that show. He was real laid back.
Yeah, he was.
You know. And he had a good match with Eric Alden with thumbtacks and I mean, for the kind of match that Raven could have at that point, it was.
And the kind of match that Eric Alden can have at any point.
Yeah, I thought it was good. And the crowd was eating it up because that crowd eats up.
You could shit in a hot dog bun and feeding them a fucking paper plate, and they'd say, "God, take the hot dog, please, with the chili sauce."
Yeah.
I know because I know Whitehall and I know it's scummy.
I would never say that about you people from Whitehall.
No,
I would never call any of you scumbags.
There's a reason
Not
why.
even a condescending way on a podcast. I wouldn't do it.
There's a reason why when I was in high school we used to call them canal rats. There's a reason.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's the only ECW guy we met at in World of Hurt. I think all the other ones were either Northeast Wrestling or a signing itself.
Probably, yeah.
Yeah.
Kid Cash is all over the place. Some people would say
that
he's money, but right there it looked like he was lacking a couple cents.
Kid Cash, more like Richie Rich.
Oh my god. Oh my fucking god. Well, I know who's not winning $200 today.
This has been a good match, though. There's not much you can. I mean.
Oh my god! He kicked him right in the puka shell necklace.
Puka shell?
It's like some kind of seashell necklace. Seashells down by the sea shed.
Oh, a Pele
was
kick
cool.
from Scorpio.
Roll him up with your legs. Oh, come on.
I thought that was going to be it, too.
This is the battle of the chains. A puka shell necklace and a golden chain from Zales.
Zales.
Yeah, this fucking referee, he's more gassed than a goddamn Sunoco.
He's sweating. He's
Look at him. I can't take the
cocaine
suspense.
is a hell of a drug.
Jesus Christ, it was such a force. It popped the referee up 10 feet in the air. Broke his legs. Look at him. He's stuck.
He was the referee that
That guy works at Foot Locker.
they would always have in the Japanese wrestlers matches because he could speak Japanese.
And Too Cold Scorpion Sky wins.
That was cool.
That would actually be kind of funny. Bring him in for one match with Scorpio Sky.
I always think, every time I see Scorpio Sky, I always think, like, I always want to say Scorpio Sky.
Yep.
I always want to say it like that just because. Looking like Eric Andre if he was on steroids.
And is Eric Andre black? I don't
He's
know.
like mulatto, I don't know.
I wish
That guy was eating a cigarette.
Yeah, I wish I would have gone to this show. I think that would have been really cool to go to. But I wasn't going to live events at this point. You know, 05, I wasn't going to live stuff.
Chris Farley?
Chris, you're still alive?
Fall through tables!
I really was living in a van down by the river.
Right.
We actually did this stuff. You know, it's true. We lived it, we bled it, we breathed it. And the preparation going into those matches were, let's just see how much we can give these people and how much we can push ourselves to each and every night. Because God knows we want to do it.
See, that's like the thing I have with like modern, I don't want to say like extreme wrestling, but like modern wrestlers that look like shit. It's, at the time when these guys look like shit, it was because there was no one else that did.
Yeah.
Everybody else was big, muscular, steroided monsters or whatever on TV. Now everybody looks like an ECW mark, and they think it's the cool thing, or that's, and like, I don't give a fuck.
And they were in a promotion where that was the point.
Right.
You know, like these guys are just
to
being,
look grungy.
Yeah.
Like Eddie, like everybody in Impact looks like a dirtbag.
Yeah.
Like Eddie Edwards looks like one of the biggest piles of shit besides this guy. Who the fuck is this?
Cronus.
Really?
Yeah. Yeah, he ballooned up a lot.
Wow, he looks awful.
Yeah.
He used to be really jacked. Pretty jacked anyways.
What is that thing he's holding and why is it smashed?
Because he couldn't figure it out by the time he got to the ring that was his offense and he just broke it and now he has no defense.
Yeah. Even as big as he really wasn't an athletic guy, but he let himself go a lot after ECW. He was in XPW for a while when they were running.
It's bad when Axel looks better than you. Did he come out balls?
No, Ian.
His brother.
Axel and Ian Rotten, the bad breed.
They look like brothers.
They had a match called the Taipei Death Match. You ever seen the movie Kickboxer, where they have the glass on their fingers when they're fighting?
Van Dam.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They Axel and Ian Rotten did a match with that where they had broken glass on their fists and they were just beating the fuck out of each other with it. Yeah.
1995 in this very building, they had a Taipei death match.
We just talked about it.
Taped up their fists.
I beat you to it, Joey.
And then they had a bucket that they had filled with beer bottles. They proceeded to smash all the bottles.
Cronus looks like shit. He looks like a fat cunt.
Like, you shouldn't be wearing a singlet. You should be wearing what Axel's wearing to cover that shit
And your
up.
fucking facial hair looks like stupid.
Yeah.
You look like a fat Keanu Reeves.
And like, fat Keanu Reeves with Jeff Hardy's beard.
Right. And then fucking Ian Rotten is Alex Winter. All fucking pudged up. This is Bill and Ted too late to the fucking, to the show. We got a time machine!
You guys, either one of you watch Bill and Ted?
I have not seen the new one.
I haven't seen it yet.
I would like
Oh,
to.
the second one?
Or the new one.
The new one, Face the Music? No, I haven't
Yeah.
seen it yet.
I'd like to.
I'm getting a bonus in the next couple weeks, and I'm going to use it to buy a couple movies that I've wanted to get.
Sweet.
Yeah, they put a thing up, not that this is on topic, but at our job, where they're giving us a bonus on Christmas Eve. They could have given it, we've got a paycheck coming out this Wednesday. Why wouldn't you give it to us then, when people could actually fucking use it? Like, I get some people they're going to get the paycheck in the morning, and they're going to go shopping on Christmas Eve. But, like, also, they're doing an extra discount that you could use for groceries and stuff for the holidays. Give it to us when that's in effect, too.
Right.
You know, like, that. I'm not complaining that we're getting a bonus.
Just the timing.
Yeah, it's kind of shitty, you know, but...
But maybe, I'm trying to think, maybe by the time they got okayed for it, it was past the point of that bankroll? I don't know.
Maybe,
Like,
but...
they couldn't authorize
But in a
it
corporate
then,
structure like that, if you're going to authorize something like that,
Right,
you know,
you
it might
have a
not be a
idea.
spur of the moment thing, but, you know... Yeah, I do want to use it to get I want to get the 3-pack on Blu-ray with all 3 of them for $30. But I kind of wanted to wait till I had that expendable cash to drop the money on it. But not that $30 is a lot, but you know.
Cronus has got the blade in his hand, his right hand.
Oh, the drop kick in the
Watch the
chair.
right hand.
Yep.
That was cool.
He saw it. Yep. He looked up to see if anybody was near him.
Now the next time he gets up, he'll be blooded.
Yep. And Ian Rotten is the guy that runs the deathmatch promotion, the one that we watched. He's the one that owns that.
Well, Axel Rotten runs the death. Because he's dead. Yeah, if Perry Saturn stood next to this motherfucker, he'd have made him look even worse. You kidding me?
Yeah.
That dude used to be a fucking powerhouse.
Oh!
How do you take that kind of chair shot?
Yeah, that was grody. Oh, are they playing the New Jack?
I did finish
Yep, here he
This
is.
is New Jack.
Oh,
Dressed in
kill
Taz
him.
colors.
You could kill somebody.
That had to be a rib, too.
I did finish season 2 of The Punisher, which was pretty good.
Yeah.
I loved that by the end of it. I thought the Billy Russo shit was just not even... It didn't even need to be in the series. The Jigsaw stuff didn't even need to be there. It had a good payoff.
Did he build the army?
No.
Oh,
No.
darn.
I mean, he does, but he doesn't.
No.
Look at that fucking blade. Look at that.
Look at that thing.
That's an actual fucking knife. That's not like, just somebody had a little razor blade to gig themselves. That's a fucking knife you would kill somebody with. And there's no room for error. Like, if his hand slips, you're coming full force down on his fucking forehead.
Yep.
That's when you know that you're coked out and you don't give a shit. At all.
And ain't you getting stuck with it?
Yep.
Yeah.
At least that's your thought process.
And then New Jack was cool as shit when we met him. Like, he seems like a down-to-earth guy, but he's just fucking insane, at certain points, especially when he's fucking
Oh,
high.
there goes another blade, or fork.
Oh. And that was his whole thing. He didn't wrestle. He just came out and beat the shit out of people.
Right.
I would really suggest anybody to watch the mass transit thing. That was just... He just sliced the fuck out of that guy's head. It was like opening one of these. It was just going right across and just going right across and not worrying about the person at all. Think any of these guys have hepatitis or,
All of
bleeding
them
over?
share. The one thing, though, I did find disappointing with that season... Ooh, he got poked with that good. It's very woke in the sense of there's a lot of women that think... It's just...
There's a lot of women in that couple first episodes.
It gets... There's not one single episode has microchip in it. They don't mention him at all.
That's too bad.
So I'm looking up, I'm like, what the fuck? Why wasn't he in this?
That's too bad.
And like the showrunner said that they just couldn't find something, like a reason to have him in. I'm like, but you have Billy Russo in a relationship with his therapist that literally went nowhere for the entire season, but you couldn't put Microchip, who was Frank Castle's like go-to tech guy, and
Have him do something cool for Frank.
but they substituted Microchip for that girl, which was okay because by the end of it you're like, okay, that's like Frank's daughter.
Oh wow.
And it is cool. And then the preacher dude, that motherfucker is nuts. He's like German, not German, but like definitely Christian. Hi, how you doing kind of guy. Like very Nazi. He goes to this business place and like there's this big mafia guy sitting there confronting him and he's like, hey, you owe me a lot of money. You kind of dipped out on us when you shouldn't have, blah, blah, blah. And he goes, you know what happens now? And the dude's pulling his fucking sleeves up, right? And the priest is sitting there across from him. And all these skinheads with chains and fucking knives and bats and everything surround him. And I'm like, how the fuck's he going to get out of this? It is one of the coolest fight scenes I've ever seen in any show ever. This guy, this preacher guy, is getting the piss kicked out of him. At one point, he gets his head slammed on like a table, and you just see a guy just punching him in the jaw repeatedly till it breaks. The preacher guy gets up, ends up killing that guy, takes his own jaw and just punches it back into place and shit. He fucking... It's so gnarly. The show, that season's really good. It's really, really good. They end it like they knew they weren't going to have a third season, though. Which is kind of good, because you don't want to go into a show knowing you aren't getting more, but yet they... Oh... I wonder how that happens, because you can't really be stabbing him anywhere in that area. What if you got him in the femoral artery?
Yeah.
You can't.
Hitting the fupa.
You next, nigga. You gonna die. I'm gonna kill you and your fucking brother. That's what he's thinking, you know.
Yeah, dude, he's crazy.
I'm gonna come over there. I snorted a bunch of coke with your fat ass, but I will kill you dead.
They're all cool.
Oh, he's got more knives in his
When
pocket.
I saw that he was on Cameo, I was like, that's fucking hilarious.
Is he really?
Yeah.
That's funny.
He
How much is this?
He does them drunk.
How much
They're
are his?
like $50.
I would pay $50 for a
He does like-
the scaffold.
He only does like 20-second like videos, and
That's
he does
still
them
cool,
completely
though.
drunk. Yeah.
I'd get him and be like, can you call me, just say my name and keep calling me a nigger.
I'll do that.
That to me is more personable and cool than paying Undertaker $1,000.
Did you hear on Jim Cornette's when Brian last played some of the Undertaker cameos?
I didn't.
Audio from him.
I didn't watch.
They are so ridiculous.
I've watched every one of them. There's like 30 of them. I've watched them all. There's literally like a 5-minute compilation of them, and they're awful.
Yeah.
Each and every one of them feels like Undertaker is selling out more and more and more of those videos he does. It feels like he's a corporate man now. The corporate Ministry of Darkness is returning.
See, I wouldn't want one of those, even though he's my favorite wrestler, just because I know that he's doing it just for money, and that he doesn't really care about the people that he's sending these messages to. You know?
She is a hottie.
Why isn't the referee counting now? Oh, there's no referee in the ring.
This is the referee.
With the stripes.
Look at
He
that.
ate the referee.
Oh man, Mark, if you saw him a couple years prior, you wouldn't even know. I didn't know who the fuck he was.
You know.
You're going to climb your fat Vic Grimes ass up that scaffold.
That's the sketchiest looking scaffold ever. I wouldn't climb on that for no more money. It's on wheels. There's no sturdiness to that whatsoever.
Yeah.
It's on wheels.
And like my thing would be, and again, like Cornette does make logical points when he says, like, if they start climbing that now, what is the point? Where as the guy that's running away, think the fuck you're going when you climb up a goddamn scaffold by a wrestling ring?
Right.
Like, I'm not saying there has to be logic in anything wrestling, but there's got to be some kind of like, wait a minute, hold on a minute. Just because we have a jetpack does not mean we need to fucking use the jetpack to get to the briefcase and the Money in the Bank.
Right. Just because New Jack did a scaffold match once and jumped off it does not mean you have to do it.
911. What, didn't he fucking fall off the scaffold?
That was Brian Lee.
Brian Lee. You're right.
But still, yeah. And plus,
I get a lot of those, like Brian Lee, 911. Not so much Crush, but they all have that big, long-haired biker, physique-looking kind of gimmick.
Yeah.
911 though, even this show, but when he had long hair, it always kind of reminded me of Jake Roberts because of that little handlebar mustache.
Yeah, he did look like a fucking jacked up, huge Jake.
And I gotta say, I did watch the segment where for AEW where my guy Archer came out and just fucking beat the shit out of that little guy, and then just him and Roberts cutting. I thought it was a great promo.
Yeah.
Just talking about who they are and shit like that, hyping themselves up, which I thought was a brilliant way to just do anything. But I love that shit. And I'm okay with him and Eddie Edwards going into a feud with each other. I don't know where it's going to go, but
I feel like they're saving the big guys to get these EVPs and shit out of the way, to get their storylines out of the way. No, not that they're never going to do anything again, but to get the major shit kind of, and then start bringing these other guys into
I can
prominence.
see that.
You know what I mean?
Do your corporate shit, please your fucking the TV people kind of deal.
And then start, because it's not like they haven't built him. They have, but
it's been a very slow pace. For
like
him.
they're gonna do something with Wardlow. You know what I mean? Like
I'm digging him too.
Yeah. It feels like they're just trying to get some of the indie shit kind of out of the way.
Yeah.
Like they're not doing anything with Marco Stunt. Like shit like that. Like I thought they were gonna kind of do more with the Jurassic Express, and they're bringing in a lot of other teams and shit. So I don't know if they plan on making Dark another show at some point. So they're bringing in all these people.
Well, I heard they want it. They're gonna. They might. I don't know. Do a third hour.
Yeah.
Which
I'd rather see them do it as a separate show.
I would too.
Third hour.
Let Dark be its own thing.
Yeah.
Which it is, but let it be part of its own. Like, I don't know. But I also see on Dark they have a lot of fucking women matches, man.
Yeah.
Oh my Christ.
I think it would be cool if they did it as like a Saturday morning show to kind of do it as a throwback to back when wrestling used to be, the secondary show used to be on Saturday mornings. Right. I think that would be a cool throwback.
Now, where was Mustafa at this point? Was that his name, Mustafa?
Yeah, I don't know what he was doing at this point.
Surprised he didn't come in with him, because he's like everywhere with him.
Yeah. That's a team I'd like to see at the WrestleFest Tag Team Edition. Bring in the Gangsters.
So they added anybody else since you told me, or no?
The Midnight Express, I know they did that. I told you about Deuce and Domino, right?
Yeah, the Steiners,
Yeah.
Tully and Arn, which is really cool.
Yeah. You know the Bushwhackers are going to be there.
Yeah.
Can't think of anybody else they've added.
It's random Deuce and Domino with Cherry.
I'm happy with that because I have all 3 of their trading cards autographed.
Oh.
The official WWE ones. So if I can get an 8x10 signed by all 3 of them,
Frame them.
that would be sick to get, yeah. You see, I'll see if I can. Well, New Jack's cutting a promo.
Yeah, definitely. The only one that I'm interested in meeting right now is Tully. Him and Arn is really cool. I definitely want to get a picture of both of them.
Steiner Brothers, Arn and Tully, Demolition again,
Mm-hmm.
the Headbangers.
Oh, that's cool. I'm gonna get that
Yeah.
on my poster.
Bruce Beefcake and Greg Valentine as the Dream Team. The
Greg Valentine
Bushwhackers,
again? Oh, I might meet him again.
Deuce and Domino with Cherry, Lex Luger. I still say they should bring in Buff Bagwell. I know you don't know Totally Buff, but I think it would just be for the people that
Lex
know
there
that
by himself. Why?
Yeah, that's the thing. Yeah, like I said, because he's cheap to get. Scott Wilder's bringing in the Samoans.
I hope so. I'm not gonna get my hopes up in case, but
it looks like for the Midnight Express they're doing Bobby Eaton and Dennis Condrey, not Bobby Eaton and Stan Lane. But still,
it'd be cool if Cornette was with him.
yeah. I don't think he'll leave his house until all this COVID shit's over. But I mean, they're going to add a lot more because that's what they do. They just add a shitload of people. But I think that's a pretty good lineup.
Now you're clearly gonna do the Steiners, right?
Oh yeah.
I'm not gonna meet. Well, I've already met Scott. I don't care if I get an autograph from Rick, but I'll probably jump in the picture with you on that one.
Yeah. I want to get Rick on the Nitro, thing that I've got.
That
Steiner.
menu?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I want to get that. So. But yeah, I'd love to get us in a picture with them. That'd be sick. But
I'd really like them to get the Dudleys. I would drop my
dude, that would
shit. They got the Dudleys.
That would be so awesome.
Or Edge and Christian. There's gonna be a big name. Like, who's the headliner?
They have Arn and Tully and the Steiners as the co-headliners right now.
Man, could you imagine? They got we've already met the Hardys, but imagine if they went and got something like Kane and fucking Taker.
Yeah.
I'm not saying they would or wouldn't, because Jesus Christ, you don't know now.
Yeah.
They just had Kane. Why wouldn't Jesus? But
it'd be funny to do Kane and the Hurricane because they were a team for a while. That would be kind of funny. But
I don't know about that.
I just random stuff like that just to get people there. I could see them doing that just to pull obscure, tandems out.
Yeah.
I'd kind of like to see the Motor City Machine Guns. I'd actually like to meet them.
I would not care to meet them ever. They were the start of these little fucking midget wrestlers becoming big superstars. It's like, no, you guys just stick to your tag team shit. Nobody fucking cares about you outside of your tag team shit. Maybe they do, but I don't. And I don't know, the whole fucking Austin Aries becoming world champion, making little guys fucking important. I have such a I don't know. Wrestling is not a little kid sport, Daniel Bryan. I miss big guys being wrestlers and looking like adults.
I could see them bringing in the Young Bucks as a headliner.
Yeah, I could see that.
Yeah.
You're talking about fucking women. They told me I got 5 minutes, so I'm going to take an hour. And then I'm going to stab the promoter in the neck with a knife.
I texted Taz after the show and said
That gotta be something.
I wore orange and yellow.
I saw
orange
you
and black.
I fucking hate you, Sid.
I'm going to stab every motherfucker in here and then fuck your bitch. Goddamn pussy party.
Oh my god.
As soon as I found out that this show was going to happen, and they
It's Jerry Lynn, Mr. JL.
requested a match with just the Crip,
He does not seem like the kind of person that listens to death metal.
it's not going to be.
And he is huge into death metal.
No, he's very soft-spoken. Look at
It's
me.
going to be a tough night,
And when they brought him in after ECW closed, they shit on him so hard in the WWF. They fucking made him light heavyweight champion. He only wrestled on like Sunday Night Heat. He never did a single pay-per-view. It was so bad. Like when they did X Factor with Just Incredible, I figured they would have brought him into something like that, you know. But then again, Just Incredible was buddies with the Clique, so. Speaking of Just Incredible,
Was this the ECW pay-per-view?
No, not by name, but by spirit, yeah.
Yeah.
Because at this point, ECW, the actual company's doors were closed like 3 years prior. And then Vince McMahon bought ECW. So at this moment, he owns ECW.
Wow.
And we said it earlier, there was a pay-per-view that was like the night after or close to this pay-per-view called WWE. Well, it wasn't WWE ECW, but it was WWE ECW's One Night Stand, which was supposed to be their like send-off to the ECW name and shit.
but then they sold so much fucking merchandise off it that they ended up rebooting ECW.
A lot of the guys that like WWE didn't have under their ECW contracts and shit, that's what they're doing with this show. Like, these are the guys that didn't get the call to the show.
Yeah.
So they did their own one-night stand. And like Dave just said, but the ECW one-night stand of this year, 2005, was that Conrad?
I don't know. No.
No, but it looked like a young
looked like him.
Conrad.
Yeah, it did look like him.
But it did so good in 2005 that they brought it back in 2006, and then they actually made it like a real
Its own show,
storyline.
yeah.
Dang.
And like, the performers here can't say ECW, but the crowd's allowed to do it. Like, that's the way of getting around it. Like, as long as the crowd, like if the crowd chants "Holy shit" on live TV, the company can't get in trouble for it because it's the people doing it, not the people. You know, it's not the promotion itself that's saying it. You know, so the sexiest man alive, Jason. I've never seen him in anything other than ECW. And this was before he signed his ECW contract, where he signed away the name. His matches with Van Damme or some of my
He's
favorite
just,
of all
you
time.
know, I could see like, I mean, I don't really can't see it, but like someone like Jerry Lynn, like you don't have a personality though. You don't have a gimmick. You don't have anything.
And when he turned heel, he had Cyrus talking for him.
Like even if you came out as like the metalhead Jerry Lynn, and you like were like just thrashers and just headbanging and instead of like that.
You're a wrestler. You're just there.
Yeah.
Like, yeah. I mean, you have amazing kick-ass fucking matches, but
It's like if RVD to me didn't have the 420 stoner Jean-Claude Van Damme-esque look as well, he would just be a Jerry Lynn. Like, and that's not a problem, but if you don't put yourself over, or you don't give a reason for me to like look at you and be like, well, alright, you look the part or whatever, you just
like if he had the skills that he had in Steve Corino's charisma and talking skills, he would have been a world champion for a long time.
Yeah.
You know, I mean, he had it. I think he had
yeah,
it for
because
like
imagine
a month
him in a feud against someone like Raven for the world title, like
with some personality.
Yeah, there's just nothing.
And not that Dreamer hadn't.
He had the heart though.
Yeah, you know,
which was his gimmick.
And his promos came across as real. You know, Yeah,
even when Jerry Lynn talks and he does his interviews, he sounds very robotic.
Yeah, it sounds forced, you know, like when he,
11 to 10. But in the end,
That's not available anymore.
They should put the disclaimer up, not available
I
anymore.
tried to go and get it, but they said you can't.
What's the point of the fucking jean shorts with the tights underneath? I never understood that.
He kind of reminds me of Stone Cold.
He's just a white trash piece of shit.
Especially now.
I mean, I always thought, and I even think this as like a kid, I always thought Just Incredible was like fun and entertaining, but he looks like the most over indie wrestler you've ever seen. and I'm not saying that in a comment or like a compliment. I'm saying
it's like Hoss from World of Hurt went to ECW.
Right, and only a small niche got him, but everybody was like, okay, I can see what he can do. I just don't get it.
Yeah, like if he was walking by me on the street, if I didn't know he was just incredible, I wouldn't know.
I would think he's trying to sell me drugs, and I would walk fast by him unless they were good drugs.
Yeah.
And then I'd still walk fast, but he'd probably steal my money, and I wouldn't get any of the drugs. And he's got the biggest, buckest teeth. I was told when they were doing Dennis the Menace, they based the chiclet scene off of him.
Dennis!
This was when Jerry Lynn was in TNA, too.
Like, he looks like a backyard wrestler. And I'm not saying that all the ECW guys don't look that way. I didn't see it. I didn't see why he was so over, and I never will understand why he thought he was as over as he was. Like, I don't know. Like, Steven Richards is 100 times better than him.
And had 100 times more personality.
He looks like he really beats his wife and then will go brag about it to the boys.
Right. Like, if he didn't have Francine next to him.
Right.
You know, like... And then you put him with Lance Storm, which was just fucking weird to me. But...
And Lance Storm is one of those Jerry Lynns. It's like, you're just a wrestler.
In WCW, he had more of the personality because he was doing the Team Canada thing. So that worked. But... Yeah,
when you're by yourself, though, that's what matters. You don't have charisma at all.
Yeah.
You're like a barn that's covered in wet paint that's waiting for itself to dry. It's just boring.
Just Incredible looks like the guy that pulled up in an IROC Z with mismatched tires.
Right.
And a broken antenna.
His mom told him to have a good day, and he spit in her face.
Right. He's got REO Speedwagon playing on the the speakers.
And fucking...
And it's making the trunk rattle as he's driving,
Billy Madison's laughing at him.
Did you see that they wanted to do a sequel to Billy Madison?
I knew when he did the Hoobie or whatever it was, he came out and he said he wanted to do like a connective universe with all of his characters and shit like that, so that doesn't surprise me at all.
That's a movie that does not need
it's perfect.
He doesn't realize he needs to just stop acting and just kind of go away.
He does, yeah. Yep.
His serious movies are good. Stick to the serious ones.
I think it got to the point where everybody told him he was the funniest guy on the planet.
Yeah.
And he just kept going. Yeah.
There's like a handful of Will Ferrell movies in like the last probably decade that are worse than they are good. There's a lot of them that are not that good. Like I was watching him on some of the late night shows with Conan O'Brien, and just I don't know. I feel like unless like certain people are in like movies or a specific gimmick or skit or something, your personality needs to be toned down. Like watching Will Ferrell on the late night shows with Conan, I guess he's always trying to be like top himself from the last time he was there.
He's doing Tom Green. He's doing Tom Green. He's just doing a skit to do a skit, and
it's very annoying. It's like just.
And Conan plays into it way too much.
He does. I think Conan's probably the best late night show guy that there is.
Great.
But he plays into a lot of people's personalities. And I only even say that because I've literally been on like a binge of watching Conan for like the last month, to where there's ones where I'm like, this is naturally amazing and these guys have chemistry. And then there's a handful where I'm like, okay, this is forced.
Is it the Andy Richter that you like?
Oh, I think Andy Richter's hysterical. I find Conan hysterical, but I also look at it as when you have your guests on, you kind of got to pander to them to a degree. But like I literally just watched one with what's his name? Deepak Chopra. How do you say his name?
Yeah, Deepak Chopra. Yep.
The Indian there.
Oh.
And There's a guy that Conan does skits with all the time on his show that sometimes I don't know if they're like, blurring that line of reality or not because they just kind of come across as like real, but they're entertaining. And the guru, that's what I'm gonna call him, the guru. He's sitting there telling Conan, he's like, I see these skits you do with blah blah blah. You must be more nicer to him. You must apologize to him, and you can just see this look on Conan's face of like, no. And then the guy, he's like feeding into it. He can like see it on Conan's face as well, and Conan goes, I don't apologize to him. He's a total douchebag. And like that's a genuine response, and he's forced to apologize, and you can just tell Conan literally is in that moment of, well, this guy's scolding me like a child, but if I don't bend to my guest, I look like an asshole host, you know, and you gotta kind of do that, but yeah, I do feel like he panders to certain things, and Will Ferrell is one of them.
Yeah, and his stuff is all the same now.
Yeah.
Kind of like Kevin Hart. It's just all the same.
Will Ferrell, he's always had the immature humor.
Yep.
But always done in, like, the rest of the movie he was in was the straight man of them. Like,
yeah.
Now his movies literally are, everything is so absurd that his ridiculousness is just chuckle humor, not, oh my God.
It's already been played. It's like, you can't play that card anymore.
Like the movie where he's Sherlock Holmes and John C. Reilly's Watson.
Yeah.
It's got funny moments. I'm not saying that these people are not funny anymore. It has its moments, but it's not like, I don't mean it literally as the sequel, but it's not the sequel with John C. Reilly and Will Ferrell that we've all wanted since Step Brothers.
Yep. And that's the thing, it's like they go back to that well, Step Brothers worked, we'll just throw them two together.
Which, I'm not going to say that the formula is broken, but you have to add to that formula. You just can't assume.
I mean, Talladega Nights had more of a balance with those two being in it.
Well, because that was the first one they were in.
Was it? Oh, that was before Step Brothers?
Yeah.
Oh,
that was the first one they were in.
Okay.
That movie's great.
It is. It's good, but it also had, like...
That was more of an ensemble than Step Brothers.
And there was like a movie to it. The Sherlock Holmes one is just like, well, that just seems like it's a funny idea. You and me being Sherlock Holmes and you being Watson, and we'll just make a movie.
Yeah.
Where it's like, no, you guys could have made that like a 5-minute skit on SNL, and it would have been legendary.
Yep.
But you had to make it an hour-and-a-half long movie while... Because it did. It's a comedy
like
that
a cash
literally...
grab.
Yeah, big time. Because it plays off the Robert Downey Jr. Sherlock Holmes movies, where it's very smart. Those two movies, I think, with Robert Downey Jr. are very smart. The way he like dissects the fights and shit, cool stuff. They do that in this Sherlock Holmes movie, where it's like, I get it, but it's not necessary.
Yep.
And same with the movie. I probably have it because I do. I have almost all of Will Ferrell's movies, even if I don't like them or not. The one where he went to jail.
Get Hard?
Get Hard.
Yeah.
That movie should have been hysterical because of who was in it, but because I've seen that chocolate milk cow get milked and that old white milk cow get milked, the milk isn't doing it for me no more.
Yep.
But yeah, I don't know.
I'm real over seeing Kevin Hart. Like, totally.
I know, I see like videos he does on YouTube and shit with other celebrities, and I'm like, there was a time I would have clicked on these. Now I don't want to.
That's like everybody keeps saying, oh, he's doing another comedy special. I'm like, okay, he's going to do a comedy special, and then all the shit from that comedy special is going to be his next movie.
Yep.
You know?
Yep.
Like, Eddie Murphy didn't use shit from his stand-up in the fucking Beverly Hills Cop movies.
I don't really think of a lot of stuff that I've seen Eddie Murphy do more than once. That wasn't... Like, all of his movies, besides, like, his signature shticks, you didn't hear, like... I didn't see him ever playing a blind, legless, homeless veteran to any other extent, anything other than Trading Places.
Yeah, that's the thing. He did the different characters, but he didn't do the same character in every movie.
Right.
Yeah.
Like Will Ferrell, I'll go back to that he is the same dumb, oblivious jokester that he's in every fucking movie.
Yep.
Like even in the Lego movie. As Lord Business and President Business, he's the smartest guy in the room, but yet he's the dumbest.
Yep.
So what does that say about, everybody else in the fucking room?
Yep.
But I'm not knocking his roles of doing that, because, Old School is brilliant with that kind of character.
We're going streaking!
But then, when you see him, when he's around the guys in that movie, he's, the dumb one. But then, he's out in the front yard working on his, Chevy, or his Chevy or whatever the fuck it is.
Oh, yeah.
So it's I guess he's not an idiot. He's just oblivious.
Yeah.
So there's depth in those older movies and shit, like Night at the Roxbury. He wasn't just the dumb guy. He was an ensemble piece to a dumb duo that collectively they needed each other to become one.
I like him in Zoolander, too.
I don't care for the Zoolander movies. I don't. I only saw the first one. I didn't like it, so I didn't ever see the second one.
I haven't seen the second one.
I didn't like Ben Stiller in that at all.
And there's not very many movies with Ben Stiller that I can say that I didn't enjoy.
Yeah, I don't know, that one just didn't...
I never thought they would do a second one. I was like, I think you got
what
you needed out of the first one.
When it first got announced, I did. I thought it was like a joke. Actually, speaking of movies I thought was a joke, holy shit, I was on YouTube yesterday, scrolling through YouTube, and a thumbnail of it's all animated. The best way I can describe it is that Pets movie, The Secret Life of Pets. Mm-hmm. It's a thumbnail of Donald Trump looking very, very heavy set and shit, standing next to Ivana or Ivanka, whatever the fuck her name is, and they're holding a corgi. And again, just the thumbnail, I'm like, that looks legit, but it's probably a gag. And then underneath it said official movie trailer for the Queen's Corgi or some stupid name like that. So I was like, that's only a minute and 30 seconds long. Even if it's just a funny fan-made stupid thing, I'll watch it. And it's a real trailer. It's literally the Secret Life of Pets movie, but done in England. Where the Queen, she has a corgi, it's famous, and it ends up getting out of the house and goes on a wild ride or whatever. But I'm watch, I'm like, this is real. And then all of a sudden you see the Queen Elizabeth, come out of her castle or whatever with her dog, and you see a limo pull up. I'm like, oh, this must be the Trump thing. You see Ivana or Ivanka or whatever get out. You see Trump get out, and he picks up the corgi and he goes, Liz, I love your place. Very nice little place you have here. It's so quick. And I'm like, this is still real?
Liz, I love your place.
Yeah, he's like, I love your place. It's a very nice little place you have here, Liz.
Oh,
and then,
sounded like De Niro.
It's so funny to see, I don't know, just see that, but that's a movie
They're making bank off those pets.
That's a movie I'd like to if you could find that. The Queen's Corgi or whatever. I'm like, I'll watch that. Fuck it.
Liz, your corgi is perfect.
It sounded like Trump. It sounded literally just like him. And he was just playing down the fact of you may be a queen, but this is a very nice little place you have here. I am the president. It's nice you're a queen. It was great. It was funny as shit. But just random as fuck.
Yeah.
To even know that by the time I was done watching it was real. That. How the fuck does that go into the radar?
Yeah.
That's a movie I would definitely want to see.
That's
But he's this big. He looks like a big fat orange with a toupee, and he's just got these little arms. Liz, it's a very nice place you have here. Other than that, there's not any movie trailers out that I've seen. I did watch.
Cradle
Pile Driver. That's it. Oh! Jesus Christ, 2 pile drivers in a row and no one fucking won. I did watch a video though for some Easter eggs in the Miles Morales Spider-Man game. Pretty cool.
Yeah.
Pretty cool stuff.
They actually, there's a Vine, a 10, 15 second video. Someone's in the Spider-Verse costume.
Yep.
And they're playing that song from that Post Malone does.
Yep. And
they're swinging through the town.
You can unlock the cinematics. Do you know how the game moves in like a weird, or the movie moves in like a weird cell shaded format?
Yeah.
You can unlock that and play with that visualizer or whatever you want to call it.
Wow.
You can unlock the Miles Morales into the Spider-Verse
I would live in that suit the whole time.
So fucking cool, man.
I would live in that suit, man.
They have.
Damn.
I'm trying to think of the Easter eggs now, and I can't. The only one I could think of is they have a street corner that's called Bozeman Way.
Yep.
I'm like, that's so cool, man.
Yeah.
You see, might as well talk about it, that Letitia Wright, the girl that was playing Shuri, is under a bunch of heat right now because apparently on a podcast, she didn't say, and I listened to it, she did not say, I won't take the COVID-19 vaccine. All she said was, shouldn't we question what may or may not be in it? Fair enough.
Sure.
But because that's such a right-wing thing to say, because you just don't agree and conform, you now are going to get canceled. And that's what she says. She goes, wow. Because a bunch of people were emailing. Or,
it's your body that you're putting a drug into.
You have to agree now with that whole side or you're the problem.
Oh, my God.
So she's not on social media anymore. Got canceled off of that. She left that. But even Don Cheadle came out and said against her.
What a bitch.
He goes, well, bye, Letitia.
Oh,
and then
no.
Somebody commented and said something along the lines, what, someone can't have a freedom of expression or a freedom of opinion?
God.
And he goes, something along the lines.
How about bye Toledo?
He goes,
whatever.
Basically saying, if she doesn't, is that Jazz? Oh, that's cool. He goes, if she's saying don't get the vaccine, then go right ahead and cancel her. Which it's like, what are you people doing? You're both in the same universe of movie. How is this going to play out in our cancel culture now? Like, because you know Marvel and shit, they're going to have to step in at some point and put a fucking... Well, we got to stop that from going anywhere. Because if she's going to be the next Black Panther in social media, which now controls the narrative of everything...
Yeah, that's one of the problems.
If they're looking to cancel her... How do you move forward with a movie that's supposed to star her when you know the world is just going to... I don't even know. We live in such a... I say this word as a joke, but fickle society.
Like social media can be good, like getting the Sonic the Hedgehog thing changed.
Right.
But it also has way too many negative effects.
Right. It's like at this point, you might as well stop, if you're famous, stop going on social media.
Yep.
Because now people are even listening. This is stupid. I'm not even making this up. People are trying to cancel Chris Pratt because they want him. And this, I can't make this shit up. I just saw this the other day. They want him to gain weight and be more like Jack Black. Because they think because he is a sexy, funny man, that entitles him to things.
Well,
it's like, wait a minute, so you're telling me Jack Black isn't sexy, which I'm not just... But shouldn't he be offended by that? And be like, whoa, wait.
Yeah.
Because this guy's got abs, that's like the standard. Now that's what's offensive.
He's just as funny skinny as he was heavy in the
right, when he was... Yeah, exactly. I didn't even think of that. He was chunkier in that, wasn't he?
He was funny. He's still funny.
We live in such a world where it's like...
Yeah.
If you don't agree with this, then you are the fucking problem. It's like... You don't even have to disagree. It's just having a different opinion or different option.
Yep. If you don't like what I like and you don't believe what I believe, your point has no validation whatsoever.
Which is absurd.
Yeah, you can't have a conversation anymore. It's got to be fuck you, fuck you.
Because that was literally all that actress said was,
bye, Letitia.
Shouldn't we just ask, well, what else is in it? That's a fair question.
Yeah.
That's a question that's been around since the first fucking shot, and then the person with the first cognitive ability to think clearly. I'm like, wait a minute. You gave me a booster shot. What's that against? Oh, it's against the flu? Or whatever? Well, what did you put in that? It's a fair question, because now that we've asked these questions, we now know, supposedly, every year when the flu shot comes around, it's the strand prior of the flu. I mean, I could be totally misinformed to a degree.
There's like different
forms of the flu in the flu shot to prevent you from getting that year's flu.
Yeah.
Now, I mean, I may not have a point to that, but you should be allowed to ask fucking questions. Now, if she came out and said, anybody that gets the vaccine for COVID, they're just a bunch of idiots and sheep and followers, or... Okay, that's grounds for, like, listen, bitch. Keep your opinion to yourself. But all she was doing is putting food for thought out there. Like, I'm not telling you to do it, I'm not telling you not to, but just... what's in it? Yeah. For my own sake, what's in it? And if people want to listen to me...
So basically they want her to just be like...
just go get the shot, don't question it.
Yeah, be like, oh yeah, well... I'll probably get the shot. I don't know. We'll see.
It's
even if you say that, they'd probably jump down your throat. You know.
But it's now she's like canceled off of Facebook, Twitters, and all this shit. She's got people that are in her family, let's say it that way, of the MCU, come attacking her. It's like,
I can't believe Don Cheadle. Well, he's a left.
I'm not even gonna categorize where he stands with politicals. He's just very, I don't even know, but like douchey. I've seen a lot of interviews with him where he's very egocentric.
Do you think it's because he's like an award-winning, like he had that Hotel Rwanda movie, and he's like thinks he's better than.
I'll tell you what, I never saw it, so I don't fucking know. But it's like, dude, listen, you're the second runner-up for Rhodey, a second character.
Yeah.
Don't get too fucking high up on the ranks of where you're...
You got paralyzed and nobody cared.
Right. The only thing that brought life to your face was Stan Lee saying Tony stank. But,
You're easily replaceable, Don.
Right.
Not Letitia.
Right!
She ain't going anywhere.
Right! Terrence Howard is waiting for the fucking call to be like, yo, T. Howe, you want to come back?
Yeah. I'd be okay with that.
I wouldn't. I'd be like, what's going on with Rhodey? He's got some weird pigmentation thing going on. We really need to check into this. He goes from light dark to real dark to light dark.
Put on that suit, Terrence.
He's going to end up looking like AJ Styles' bodyguard, that dark.
This was the heavy Sandman.
Yep. Like when we met him, when he looked like he just came back from a barbecue.
Both of times.
Yep.
He looked like a crackhead both times, but it was expected.
I love the picture I have of him, like with his arm around me outside the store. Just like we were friends. He seems like the kind of dude that would just go to a bar with a bunch of fans and just fucking hang out and do, shoot the shit and
Is this the Terry Funk guy?
No, it's
the Sandman. He used to come out with Enter Sandman by Metallica and do the entire song as his intro. He would just come out through the crowd.
When fucking Lars came out, I was like, yo, you fucking stole my song, dude.
After a while, they would use the Motorhead version, but...
Look at those old cameras. That's great.
They used Enter Sandman the one time with WWE at One Night Stand when he did his entrance, but they dubbed it over when they released the video.
He's doing the Stone Cold beer thing.
He was doing it way before Stone Cold was.
Yeah.
When my music would stop playing, I've been over to
It's gotta be like the last match, yeah. Jesus Christ, there's still an hour?
It's got the triple threat with Terry Funk and...
Well, we ain't watching the whole fucking thing. We're gonna be coming to an end here soon. Because what is the match with him?
I don't know who he's wrestling.
This was right when Paulie got the book from Eddie.
That's a good question. I don't know.
Paulie.
Fast forward in the intro.
Oh, that's right, Raven.
Oh, Raven, yeah. With the Musketeer and the Blue Meanie.
Well, we'll narrow it down. What match do you want to watch, this or the triple threat one?
I kind of want to see the triple threat.
You got him, man.
But we met Sandman by himself once at the Wrestling Universe, and then we met him and New Jack at the same time in the same store. And that was pretty cool.
For Terry Funk, I'm gonna wrestle!
I wish we could have met Taz the one time, but traffic sucks.
Bobsley?
Kind of, like a fucking rooster getting choked.
My eye! My eye!
You egg sucking son of a bitch, you! Put pantyhose on my face.
I wonder how long it took them to put that barbed wire up.
He looks like a manager, not a wrestler anymore. I'm Shane Douglas. I'm in TNA, you fuckers.
Oh, Francine! They were right. She looks like the kind of chick that was the fucking slut.
Yeah.
You know? And not to say that's a bad... It's just she looked like she fit her role. The girl, the head cheerleader that would put out.
Because you don't need to talk when you're fucking, Joey. You just fuck.
I just want her on top of me with them things in my face. That's all I want.
Was this like his regular music, or was this his TNA music?
This was his TNA music. I think he used a version of this in WCW, too.
How do you get in there?
You gotta go under it.
Francine, use your pussy and lift this. The goddamn thing is fucking muscular.
The Q&A with him was a lot of fun.
Yeah, it was nice.
I don't remember a lot of, but just to hear him talk and take questions and it was hear his perspective on things, I really liked.
Her fun bags are gonna explode.
And this shit with her crawling to him. And they would room together so people would really think that they were a thing. That Shane Douglas was actually married.
Oh, man.
And Francine was with Dreamer for a while, too. And they tried to keep that under wraps, but the internet got a hold of it. And then they ended up putting her with Dreamer anyways. It sucks that Dreamer couldn't be a part of something like this with how big he was to the company. But being in the office with WWE, got that contract to worry about. He looks like he did in the ECW with the broken arm all the time.
Right.
He's another one that really couldn't get out of his own way.
No.
You know, he was way too outspoken and,
Yep.
you know, caused a lot of problems for himself. Had a load of talent, but... And he relied on the Ric Flair feud that never happened way too long.
Yeah.
Like, I get that when you were in the WWF, you had problems with the Clique and shit, but if you really had that kind of talent, you should have been able to rise above that stuff. Or not let it bother you to the point where it, you know, tracked the rest of your entire career.
Right.
He would have been a huge heel in the 80s.
Oh, yeah, he would have been really, yeah.
He would have been on par with the $1 Million Man, you know, and all that. He would have been blowing everybody away with promos. He would have just been the best heel with promos back in the 80s. He wouldn't have been doing the screaming, you know, he would have been doing the serious, like, Jake Roberts kind of promos. When he was in WWF in '91, I thought they were going to do something with him, but they kept him in the like a mid-card babyface, and it just didn't work.
I don't know why you wouldn't. Only because you are on a you are on a pay-per-view or whatever the fuck this is. It's not like this is on TV or anything.
Right.
You know that like you'd only be endearing the fans even more and like giving them something they've always wanted. And did you think she's really afraid of showing a couple hundred people her tits?
And it happened by accident once when she was getting a pile driver from Tommy Dreamer. So it's not like they hadn't seen him.
Right. So I mean,
And this is why the fucking show is so long.
Yeah. They have to come out and get over.
Yep.
Terry Funk.
I want Bubba Ray to come out with some Oreo cookies. And you know a lot of those guys that were under contract would have loved to have been at something like this. Not that they didn't like being at One Night Stand, but doing something that had more of a feel of ECW and being at that arena. There he is. The coolest dude on the planet, Bill Alfonso.
Yeah, the guy in the black is the guy we were talking about earlier.
Oh, okay.
Always blow the whistle. And Sabu was so nice. He was doing a signing with Taz in New York City, and Taz had to leave. And Sabu was supposed to leave, but he waited because he knew we were coming.
Yeah, that was cool.
That's pretty fucking cool. And that's a guy that has destroyed himself for the business and doesn't get the credit that he deserves.
I can't shake it. Every time now, like, whatever, when I went and rewatched the original barbed wire match between him and Terry Funk, it was so hard to not see all the calls in that match. To see Sabu constantly calling over to Fonzie for a blade.
Yeah.
To tell the referee, cut me. Like, I think it was at least 5 times I saw in that match, Sabu say to the ref, cut me, cut me, cut me.
The one he did in the corner on his arm, that was legit.
But other than...
Yeah. But the other times, yeah. Need Sonny to help him down to the ramp. Looking at her tits the whole time.
Fucking hands are taped up more than anything I've seen.
Yeah, I'm surprised that man can still walk.
And then to think, he had this match, and then 2 years later, he's at another one-night stand with fucking having a tag team match, getting lit on fire, falling through barbed wire tables.
Not even 2 years later, it was the next year.
Yeah, it was. It was the next year, yeah.
Yep. And you look at guys like him and Foley, and it's just, how do you move? How does your, same with like Kurt Angle, how does your body even work at this point? You've just destroyed yourself.
I'm gonna come in here. Oh, there's collars everywhere. Jesus Christ, what the fuck? I'm having a seizure.
He was great when we met him. He was happy to be there, and that's the only indie show I've ever really seen him advertised for was Northeast Wrestling. They were really good at getting people that don't do a lot. Because Cornette doesn't do anything. I mean, he does conventions in the South, but it's really hard to get him to come up to the Northeast.
Yeah, it was very cool that he was at that show.
And then the whole interaction with Funk and Foley. That stuff was just fucking tremendous. And it was in a throwaway match with Jerry the King Lawler and the Man Scout.
Yeah, right,
You know?
yeah, exactly.
Like, I get, Funk and Lawler have history, but it wasn't like it was the main event. You know?
Yeah, that was really cool stuff.
Did they realize they forgot to introduce Sabu? So just then?
No, in ECW, they usually did it once everybody was in the ring.
Oh, okay.
I think a lot of times they did it because then the music that they were using illegally wasn't in the introductions.
Yeah.
That makes a lot of sense.
Fucking Shane Douglas looks like the stepdad to the kid that doesn't want to play baseball, but he's gonna make him. Terry Funk looks like he's an old fucking beat up wrestler. Fucking Sabu looks like a terrorist, and Shane Douglas just looks like the guy that just wants to fuck the mom but has to deal with the son.
Get up there and take some cuts.
Jesus Christ, if I'm gonna eat your mother's asshole, you're gonna go up there and hit that ball!
You're on the ball, damn it.
If I gotta tell your mother cooking's good one more time and not mean it, you better hit a fucking homer!
You better not make any noise when we're going at it either, because then she's gonna stop.
If you start crying, I'll punch you right in your fucking mouth. And then your father, I'll fucking knock him out too. You're lucky I'm here. Fuck you.
You better not get up in the night and ask for a glass of water, I'll fucking kill you.
Right, like he is right now, like those are his two boys. You boys, get along, or I'm gonna come over there and kick your fucking asses. Sally, the fucking what the hell? That's the stupidest lockup ever.
And I hate that the Dudleys couldn't be here. If they had done this like 3 months later, the Dudleys wouldn't have been under contract.
Right.
You know? And it's cool. It is cool that TNA allowed their people to do this, knowing that it was going to be on a DVD and it was going to be, commercially produced. That they actually allowed them to do it. Because I think Douglas was actually still doing backstage stuff in TNA at this point, and Funk was just doing whatever.
Should have lost the weight, fuckers.
Oh, that's
Terry
gotta
Funk
suck.
just did that to himself.
Yep, you don't care. Nobody's cutting me, goddammit. I'm gonna do it the hard way.
I'm in the barbed wire. Oh, might as well just lay here.
I've got 2 shirts on and more tape on my arms than it looks like I'm wearing a hard cast, but I'm alright.
And Sabu's just like, whatever.
That guy barely hit him, he hit the ground, worse.
Well, that was the fucking point. It was to hurt the ring. You gotta find the soft spots.
He's not pinning Terry Funk, he's trying to hold the ring down.
Right.
Yup.
Oh, I thought it was Fonzie kicking him for a second. I was like, when did Fonzie jump in the ring?
He just said, fuck it. Boys, I told you to get along! Mother worked all goddamn day for you to fucking punch your father!
See, you can slide under the ring like that. Was Francine had to hold it up for you earlier? What's wrong with you?
Fucking kids want allowance and they can't even clean their fucking rooms!
And most of the ECW guys we met weren't really on this show. Some of the main ones were, but...
I was gonna say, we met all 3 of these guys.
Yeah. And Sabu went just fucking crazy in all the matches in Northeast Wrestling that he had.
Yeah, he did.
Throwing fucking chairs around and shit.
I'll never forget, I had the fucking... Oh no, I think it was Sabu that did it, or maybe it was Ron Zombie, but someone slammed Vic Delicious's head into my fucking sign, and it was made of paper. And I'm like,
that was Sabu. I remember that. That was Sabu.
Was it Sabu that did
Sabu,
it?
yep.
Yeah, I'm like,
Yep.
that was paper. It didn't do anything.
It was so ridiculous, but it was good.
I still have that sign, too. It's in my bedroom. Because that's right when he did the TNA stuff, because that was the EV2 crap.
Right.
And he was bald.
And that was a cool run, the EV2 stuff. I liked some of that.
Yeah, I didn't mind it.
The Hardcore Justice pay-per-view was good.
I wish they wouldn't have called it EV2. I think that just sounded stupid.
Right.
You could have called it, like, just the... anything other than that.
Yeah.
Extreme Warriors. Like, we would have got it.
Yeah.
Just EV2 sounded just dumb.
Yep.
My hair!
Especially when Flair said it. Flair, like, fumbled every time he said it.
It just didn't sound natural.
Yeah. I don't really know...
The Heroes of Hardcore, or whatever, anything
Yeah.
is better than what they came up with.
I don't really know what else, as far as ECW, really to talk about. Like, you can mention specific stuff, but... like, matches and stuff, but... I don't know. Just the aura of it is what I really gravitate to, not specific matches. Like, you can talk about Tanaka and Mike Awesome and Taz and RVD and Jerry Lynn, but it was more the storylines and the angles and... I don't...
The emotion.
Yeah,
atmosphere.
Yeah, I don't... There's not a lot of specific matches that I really pinpoint as... Like, I can't pick a specific pay-per-view that I remember every match. It's certain, matches sprinkled here and there, Like, you remember most of Barely Legal because it was the first one, and they really put an emphasis on Taz and Sabu, but Like, not a lot of people are going to remember that the members of Kai and Tai were in a fucking match on that pay-per-view.
Right.
You know? And, like, if you go into Raven, you could spend hours just talking about everything that he did.
Terry Funk just totally moved the fucking chair on him. Oh. Yeah, no, ECW wasn't really known for, like, the 5-star WrestleMania style over the top, or not over the top, but, like, spectacle matches and shit. Like, the big stuff that matters was Terry Funk being 50-something years old, winning the ECW World Championship. Yep. Sabu and Terry Funk having barbed wire matches. Taz breaking his neck.
And the mid-card stuff is memorable, but it really is sporadic on
right,
a lot of,
like,
you know.
The franchise throwing down the NWA Championship. It's moments. It's not
a collective, you know,
ensemble of them.
Yeah.
Like New Jack and Vic Grimes fucking each other up. I can't even tell you when that happened. I just know it did. And that's how ECW is. It's memories, really.
Yep.
But it's also because ECW is really also known for its hardcore matches, but because of the stars it made. Or the people that it created that went on to help create the stars.
Yep.
I mean, ECW created the Attitude Era. I don't care if anyone says the NWO started the war. ECW created the Attitude Era because without this style, you would not have had the attitude that NWO had, or that DX had, or that the Corporation had, or any of those groups that were anti-establishment. You would have never have got that unless you had this.
Oh, yeah. Yep.
I mean, and that's not just because of the wrestling style, it's because of the guys, the Dudley Boys, that went on to make the Attitude Era what it was for tag teams with the Hardys and Edge and Christian. The Radicals, when they weren't the Radicals here, but when those four men were in ECW and then they went to WCW, that was a big thing.
Yep.
But then when they came to WWF, it was like, this is even bigger. And, I mean, look what you got out of that. You got Perry Saturn, which, Dean Malenko, who's labeled as one of the best technical wrestlers of all time, and then you got Eddie Guerrero and Benoit. What more do you need to say about those two?
Well, like a guy like Austin, if he hadn't made that stopover in ECW to do those promos,
right?
You might not have seen Stone Cold Steve Austin.
Yep.
He might have gotten there eventually, but I don't think it would have had the same attitude.
Right.
You know?
The crossing over of ECW in the mid-90s before it was like the Invasion shit where you had Dreamer and the Dudleys and shit. That to me is like, that put Van Damme and those guys more on the spotlight than ever before.
Yep.
So I mean, ECW is super influential, and especially at this time when the territories were done, really. There was no other options. I mean, and I'm excluding TNA too because this is later years. But in ECW in the 90s, late 90s, you only had WWF and you had WCW, and that was it. Now in modern wrestling, there's 10 companies that an avid wrestling fan could just drop on a dime, to where it's not the same as it used to be when there was only the one little well that all the big fish were in.
Yeah, and now the access to any promotion that you want is so widespread.
Yeah.
This, you had to search it out, and once you found it, you fell in love with it.
Right.
Or you hated it.
And now, I don't want to say every indie company is like this, but this is what almost every indie company is striving to be, is guys that'll just go in there and beat the shit out of each other for no rhyme or reason. And I'm not saying that was ECW, but that is when you look at it, that's what you're watching.
Yep.
You don't realize that there's history, that there's a reason. It's just, well, what the fuck could be the reason for the barbed wire? It's just there. It's an aesthetic. All these indie guys are all the high-flying, high spots, quick, don't sell. And I'm not saying that's what ECW is, but it's...
But the matches with Van Damme and Jerry Lynn, they weren't selling much.
Well, ECW was able to be that different option because you didn't have another version of this. You couldn't just switch over and be like, all right, well, I'm watching Ring of Honor now. Let me switch over to like AAA or MLW, where it's different, but it's the same.
Yep.
You know what I mean? It's everybody's edgy, everybody's a badass, but then everybody's got to be funny too.
Yep.
And everybody's got to be sexy or sleek or I don't really know. It's ECW was it was such a necessity without realizing it was.
And that's why, like, when they release an ECW DVD, it sells out better than anything that they release. You know, that's why One Night Stand happened, because of the rise and the fall of ECW DVD.
Yep.
Which is one of the best ones they've ever produced.
It is. I just watched, like, a bunch of my ECW DVDs, like, a couple of weeks back. But, I mean, when I can turn on Impact, and I see Sammy Callahan and Eddie Edwards, who Eddie Edwards used to look like an athlete.
Yeah.
Now he looks like a bum.
Eddie Edwards used to look like a dark-haired Jerry Lynn.
Yeah. Now he looks like... He looks like he's got the body of Shane Douglas right here.
Yeah.
A former wrestler.
Yep.
Not somebody that's still fighting in the world contention spot.
Yep.
But they just... It's that we got to be badass. I don't.
Or we have to be funny.
Yeah,
Yep.
opposed to like.
Oh man, this sounds really in there.
I don't know. It's so different.
Oh, Fonzie took one.
He probably was like, "Do that, hit me, so they get the eyes off Terry.
Yeah.
Hit me, baby.
He's whoa!
I see your butt. You shouldn't have wore hot panties, baby." That's how he talks. That's what he would say.
That's how he, yeah.
Daddy, your panties are riding your pussy so high, you're trying to kiss me with those lips, baby.
It's nice he's not blowing the whistle, though. That got old real quick.
Oh, that's around his neck. Oh,
And Funk just doesn't care.
Oh, it's like right up under his ear. Imagine his ear ripping off like fucking Mick Foley's.
And he's got the long hair, too. That makes it even fucking worse.
If he gets hit with
Jesus, the referee!
Is he gonna hit him with that chair and that barbed wire?
Look at Sabu freaking out.
Yeah, Well, that catches your fucking throat and hits your jugular. You're fucked.
Yeah.
And you know there's no, like, high-level ambulance here. Like, it's just the cheapest ambulance service they could get.
Well, for whatever reason, the medic team makes me think of, in the Punisher Season 2, Jigsaw goes to, like, this low-end crackpot doctor. Like, just picture when Joker goes and gets his face in Batman 89.
Yeah.
Like, that real dirtbag doctor. You don't want to go there. You might be better just to die by yourself.
It's not the John Wick doctor.
Yeah, no, this guy is, like, big, fat, heavy set. He's chugging a bottle of whiskey. He's shaking. Like, all of his utensils are rusty. He's, like, pulling bullets out of Jigsaw and shit, and the pain's just, like, excruciating, and he, like, passes out, yada, yada. So the doctor looks over, and he sees, like, the bag of money that Jigsaw just brought in, and he's like, you read his mind. He's contemplating, fuck, he's passed out. We'll just let him die, and I'll just take the money and go. You know, that's what he does.
Yeah.
But the next time you see, like, Jigsaw, he wakes up, he's literally, I don't even know what song they're playing, but it fit the mood perfectly. And he's laying in a dumpster, just bleeding out, dying. And he just starts laughing, and I'm like, and now I'm thinking, I'm like, yeah, that'd be like a Terry Funk.
Yeah.
Get the bullets out of him, but just leave him in the dumpster to fend for himself. Because that really would happen.
Yep.
But,
When they rebooted it in 06, and they announced all the originals that they had, did you think it was going to stay that way?
No.
I didn't either.
No. Not at that moment I didn't, but when I started week by week seeing the Legends or the ECW originals getting weaned out, and I'm not saying Dreamer, Sandman, and Sabu. That clearly were their cash cows. They couldn't just job them, even though they eventually did Sabu. But like when Danny Doring and Roadkill came in, they had... who else did they have? They had a couple other original ECW guys come in.
Balls was there.
Balls was there. Stevie was there. And they just kind of were like jobbing them out for no reason because the guys that were beating them weren't doing shit. like Mike Knox and stuff,
Yeah.
and it's like, all right, well, there's no real goal, so they're not going to stick around.
I
at
think
all.
really it was to get their names.
Yeah, oh yeah,
It was to sign them, get the names, so they could use it as intellectual property to release ECW stuff. Yep. Because that's one of the reasons New Jack said he would never do it. He's like, without the name, I'm nothing.
Right.
You know? He's like, am I going to come out as Jerome? That's not going to have the same effect as coming out to Natural Born Killers and being New Jack. You know?
Right. No, I was just, at that point, I mean, it's still the same now, but with Legos, not with wrestling figures, but at that point, I was super thrilled, like, oh, cool, ECW, like, sure. And when they said they were going to have some of the legends, and you did get to see them, I was super thrilled at the idea of, like, okay, the next video game is going to have ECW in it. They're going to come out with ECW figures. That's where my mindset was. Not so, because I was more of a fan then, opposed to a critic now. But I was excited, but I also knew it wasn't gonna be anything that lasted.
Well, like when they added Angle, I was stoked, and I was like, to me it fit because he had been that intense guy for like 6 or 8 months.
That ladder's gonna snap horribly.
Yeah.
But Angle had been that intense, so he fit. You know what I mean? And he could do something different. He had kind of done all he could do at that point in 06.
The ladder's shady.
Rhino?
Maybe. Oh, it's Foley.
Oh, damn.
Yeah, that ladder is
Right where his feet is that long.
Where'd you go? Did you go to the dollar store to get that ladder? Oh, it's already broken.
But I'm very, to go off the idea of, like, excitement or whatever, anticipation, I'm excited for the AEW game because now, like, what if Sting's in that?
Yeah.
That's cool!
Yep. And I think it's going to be fun to beat a guy like Archer or somebody, to see what they're going to bring to it and who they're going to put on the roster. And, yeah, there's a lot of possibilities, and, yeah, and to know that they're not just doing it on the next-gen consoles, too, I think is a really good touch that they,
I think it'll be pretty fun. I'm excited. I hope they do have, like, the legends in it, like Tully and Arn and shit, also as playable.
Yeah.
Because you got the rights to them. It's not like you don't.
They've got to get better with their action figures, though, because you can't find those fuckers in stores anywhere.
Yeah, no, I've not seen them in Walmart once.
It's, you knew once you got pre-orders for those that they were going to be huge.
Right.
And especially with it being in Walmart, a wrestling fan, even if they're a WWE one, if they're right next to the WWE ones, people are going to grab those for their kids too, not even knowing.
Right.
Is that like the...
I don't know what the name of that is, but it's a move.
That's cool.
What the explanation is you kept rolling to disorient your opponent before you pinned them. You know what I mean?
Okay.
It's kind of the same idea of an airplane spin. When you got the guy on your shoulders and you're...
I gotta say, if you need an explanation for that, you fucking failed physics.
Well, there are a lot of stupid wrestling fans, and a lot of them live in Whitehall.
Fucking fucking blood-soaked.
Yeah.
Yep.
I'm gonna go for that!
Spinning toe hold.
You gonna poke me in my eye?
One of the moves that looks the least lethal ever.
Sabu didn't know where to set the chair.
Oh, that looked like it was fun.
I'm gonna fuck him!
That looked like it was fun. Oh,
that's where Edge got the idea for the cover on Beulah.
Is he gonna wall of Jericho him?
Oh! Sabu was doing everything he could not to hit that ring post.
I don't know why. I would have went towards the ring post. He fell into the barbed wire.
Yeah.
At least the ring post you could have leapfrogged. Yeah, he should have come out in the Cactus Jack shit.
Yeah.
Or did WWF own that? Or WWE own Cactus Jack?
No, he's always owned that.
I mean, I can see he's got the shirt on, but he should have came out in the boots and leopard print pants. I remember when Jack Specific made their first Cactus Jack Legend figure, I was like, oh, this is the coolest fucking thing. He came with like a barbed wire baseball bat, the Mr. Sacco, his hands were in the bang bang position, or at least one of them was. He had a tearaway shirt. He looked fucking awesome because it wasn't a Mick Foley, it was Cactus Jack.
Yep. When I was watching Survivor Series again.
Oh, Terry.
Terry. When Angelo Dawkins and Montez Ford were doing their promo in the back, and they said Mankind, he fucking said Bang Bang. I'm like, no, that's Cactus Jack, motherfucker. Don't. I get that it's still Mick Foley, but you said Mankind. You didn't say Cactus Jack. Come on. Oh, man. He's lucky he didn't break his fucking ankle in that.
Did I beat the ladder?
He would have looked like that. He would have looked like that guy that jumped off the second rope and broke both his legs.
Did you see the guy that jumped off the top rope, did a backflip, and fucking broke his neck?
Yeah.
The guy in like the green army pants?
Yeah.
Jesus Christ, that's nasty.
Yep. Oh,
Sabu gets the first win ever of his career!
Is it elimination or is it just... No, it said their winner, Sabu.
Wouldn't that be something that was like lemon juice?
He keeps pouring water on him to cool him down.
A jar of iodized salt.
That's his thing, he's a manager.
Yep.
But he's also a lover. Get off of me! You fucking fucker!
I like that. You called it right down the middle.
You trained me.
He was such a cool dude.
Mac!
that really is how he sounds too.
Yeah.
Not when he's normally speaking, but when he's doing his wrestling voice.
I speak like this. I'm Terry Funk, and I'm a wrestler. And I didn't sign with the WWE, even though they offered me millions of dollars. I love hardcore wrestling and his fans. And my brother, he's Dory, and I'm Terry.
He's the most bland motherfucker ever.
Was that accurate, Terry Funk?
That's pretty much, yeah.
And then when he's Mac, you egg-sucking son of a... Oh, my eyes! Mick, my eyes!
I've watched some of Dory Funk's matches, and they are the most boring.
Dory has got more
matches I've
personality than... Who's a wrestler with no personality?
Is Dory as old as this guy?
He's
probably
older.
the same age, aren't they?
He's a little bit older.
Yeah?
Yeah.
Dory's still alive, isn't he?
Yeah.
That's crazy to think.
But I've watched his matches, and it's just like... It's the most boring fucking match.
It's kind of like the Briscoes, and I'm talking Jerry and Jack.
Yeah,
They're great and all, but Jesus, they have no charisma.
Yep.
I'm Jack Briscoe. I'm the Indian. Did you see Jerry on Raw with those mutton chops?
Yeah.
I'm looking at him like, who the fuck is that guy? Looking like a little badass or something.
Jerry.
I like how Shane's not there.
Yeah.
Oh, Terry.
Yeah, Terry, yeah.
Yeah, Jerry Funk was his brother-in-law. He didn't get over in wrestling.
Jimmy Jack Funk and Flash Funk and...
I'm not Sabu, I'm Terry! You stupid
That ladder betrayed me.
These fans are as stupid as Armorillo is hot.
For what it was, for not being able to have some of the originals, this was... I like this. I thought it was really good.
I like this, but I honestly like the One Night Stand one more.
Yeah.
There they go. There's all the guys. There they go. There's Todd. There's all the boys. But, you get out of there, you fucking klutz. What the hell was I just gonna say? I forget. Oh, the One Night Stand one, I liked it because it was what it was. It was a send-off, as it was made to feel like it was. But I really like the incorporation of the WWE into it.
Yeah. It gave them something to rebel against. And
not just to come out and say fuck you for the sake of it. They could go against the establishment because it was right there in their face. And it was allowed. And it was organic. And it felt awesome.
Yep.
And
ECW was is the kind of crowd the kind of company that would have let those guys be in the skybox,
But
not made a big deal about it. And if something happened, it happened. But they were, they weren't going to be uppity and say get out of the building.
I loved it. I think the ECW One Night Stand is great.
I like the second one too. I thought the second one was good.
I wish I don't have that on DVD. I saw it a couple times, and I just never. Oh, fuck these guys,
bro.
I'm fucking Vince Russo, bro, and I blame everything bad on Ed Ferrara.
I don't know who Ed Ferrara is.
He's a cunt.
Yeah. I think Cornette is right. He was carrying around Russo's papers.
Yep. I just listened, just randomly, to Hannibal do an interview with the Metal Maniac.
Yeah.
And the Metal Maniac is one of the guys that was on one of those dollar store DVDs. And the Metal Maniac was talking about Herb Abrams or whatever. And he's like, yeah, the guy, I'm going to shorten his story. He's like, he loved his coke and blah, blah, blah. And he's like, I went to his office with him and I was going to work with him. And he's like, he had a pile of coke on his table. And he's like, Herb was just snorting lines and lines. He goes, next thing you know, I see Herb just take 2 handfuls of coke. He looked me dead in the eyes and he goes, man, I love this stuff. And he goes, he just washed his face with it. And he goes, next thing I know, Herb's looking at me and he goes, this is just a rib, kid. Don't worry about it.
Oh, like,
rib.
Like a joke.
But it's like, no, you just took 2 handfuls of coke and just ate it.
Yeah.
And
how is that funny? How is that a joke?
Well, he ended the story by saying him and Herb left the office and went somewhere else. They were at a wrestling show and I forget who he name dropped, but they were 2 wrestlers, like 2 legit guys. And he goes, yeah, they walked up to Herb, they looked at me, they grabbed Herb by the shoulders, and they did this to me. And he goes, and I took that as, all right, my journey's done right here. He goes, next thing you know, I see Herb come back with these guys after like 5 minutes, and his demeanor was gone. Like, he goes, he was sobered right up, and he goes, his look on his face was, like the whole time, he's like, he must have owed them money and they fucking scared him straight or something. He goes, because his attitude the rest of that show was totally different. And from what we've heard and seen of him, it's like, yeah, that sounds about right.
Sounds about right, yeah.
But this is a funny little story. I don't know what made me think of that. I think the cover of those bootleg DVDs just made me think of it. Buff. Bootleg. That's what they are.
That was a lot of fun to watch and to go back and talk about ECW, the guys we've met, and what it meant to the business, what it meant to us, then what it meant to the Attitude Era, and these guys have been so cool to us. Every time we've met him,
every ECW guy that I think we've ever met that I can say has been top notch, super nice.
And even if it wasn't like New Jack didn't say much, but the experience overall was really fun. So.
Yep. I'm gonna do my thing right at the very, very end.
Alright.
So, yeah.
So, this has been our ECW episode. We're gonna take a little bit of a sabbatical.
There you go, that's a good one.
And we'll definitely be back for the Royal Rumble. We might do some stuff in between, we might not. But this has been the Wrestling Ring. I'm Deadly Dave.
I'm Markadius.
And I am the Wildcard, Ace Williams. And it is time now for the $200 giveaway. You guys ready?
I'm ready.
Are you ready?
Yeah.
Oh! Make it rain, bitches!
Oh!
Woo!
It'd be even better if you had the Young Bucks music.
I got like
I should have, but I didn't.
I got
That's
like
awesome.
600 grand.
I think there's $200 in there.
What-
Oh!
Do you guys think it was
awesome.
going to be real
Yeah.
money? So that was me. I'm the $1 million store man, Ace Williams. Everybody's got a price here at the Comic Wrestling Podcast.